Revisiting some of the previous talking points from the afternoon boxing talks, and how I said that even in the realm of con men, because I've dealt with a few, when I was in Bosnia 50 years ago, I've seen guys like Al. They're easy to spot. A lot was often made of Al Haymon being a Harvard graduate. Like, ooh, he graduated from Harvard. There's a lot of educated dummies running around. People are only now starting to realize that a college degree doesn't always make you the smartest person in the room. And I don't think of Al as being all that smarts, not even as a thief, not even as a con man, because like I told the great coach Malachi earlier today, shout out to the coach. Uh, if you're a really good thief, they won't even know you stole from them. If you're a really good thief, and I've known some amazing thieves, fantastic, in my many travels. Uh, if they're onto you, if they always figure out what you're doing, and if everything you touch turns into shit, well, then you're not good at what you're doing. The ends have to justify the means. This is the universal rule in my country. So if everything you touch turns into shit, and everything you're involved with crashes and burns, are you the smartest guy in the room? No. You occupy rooms full of morons. That's what it is. It's not even that you're so smart so much as they're so dumb. That's what that is. And even now there are people trying to latch on to the illusion because it's shaking their worldview, their perception of things. How could Al do this? Al was supposed to be the guy that looks out for the boxers, that takes care of the boxers. This is in opposition of what a lot of people thought, what a lot of people have argued. Al looks out for the fighters. Well, he wasn't looking out for Floyd if 340 mil is missing. Shout out to Drew. Education is not indicative of intelligence. No, it's not. An education is not indicative of intelligence. And education, see, we learned this in, when I was in Croatia 15 years ago at a seminar. All education really is your ability to recite and remember what you've studied. That's all that is. You go to college, you read a bunch of shit, and then they test you on it. But that doesn't make you smart because you can remember what you read. Intelligence is all about how you apply the knowledge you acquire, however limited it may be. I make this example all the time. You can have a guy, he doesn't know much about much, but he knows a lot about fixing cars, detailing cars, working on cars, and you can parlay that into a respectable life. You can, have a guy, he doesn't know much about much, but he knows about being an electrician, or he knows a lot about plumbing. And that limited skill set may be enough for him to lead a very successful life, because true knowledge and true intelligence is all about how you apply it. It's the application that converts it from meaningless factoids and minutia to actual intelligence. The koala bear that hides from the snakes in the trees, he's smart. I got away from those guys. You know what I'm saying? You understand? You get it. Shout out to the coach. You know what I'm saying? We out here. So just because a guy goes to Harvard, I've known a lot of guys like Al Haymon. I've seen a lot of those guys. That's why he's so easy to spot. You're the guy, you go up to the guys. Well, I went to Harvard, and they're just respecting that shit. They're not going to challenge it. Going to Harvard doesn't necessarily make you the smartest person in the room. Absorbing whatever knowledge you picked up in uni, that in and of itself doesn't make you the smartest person in the room. I would give him credit for being a thief if he were able to get away with this stuff. But what I see is no, your con jobs, they never seem to pan out. They never seem to pan out. If they did, then I would say something different, but because they don't pan out, you know? So it is what it is. Yep, there you go, Murphy. The dumb smart guy. He goes up to a bunch of guys, bunch of morons that are, waiting to believe in something. That's all that is. Why doesn't it work on everybody? If he's such a fucking wizard. Shout out to Drew. Is the WBC that tone deaf, or did they backdoor deal agree to be first organization to sell out and Turkey is going to absorb them? They're making it too easy for Zuffa. Look, when it comes to the World Boxing Council, they are one of many individuals in this industry right now that profiteers off of the lack of regulation and chaos. If they are now shaking in their boots, it's because boxing as they understand it is changing. And I greatly underestimated Zuffa's reach and influence. I didn't even see it being this big. It's so much bigger than I actually thought it would be. That, yeah, you guys are in trouble. You're going to have to fall in line. You're going to have to play ball because things are different. The relationships that you established in the past, they don't matter anymore. It doesn't matter if you was cool with Al. It don't matter if you was cool with Oscar. It don't matter if you was cool with Bob. Shit is different now. There's only so many ways to work that situation. I made the recommendation that if Zuffa dominates the American landscape, what you can do is make more of an effort to operate outside of America, away from the Muhammad Ali Revival Act. That if that act impedes your ability to make money the way you have been, you can always operate more out of the UK because the Muhammad Ali Act is not a thing over there. You can see about giving some European fighters some more WBC titles. You can do that because the Muhammad Ali Act is not a thing in Germany. It's not a thing in the UK and Russia and these other territories. It's not a thing. Now, granted that maybe you don't make quite as much money as you were making in America, but your revenue stream in America already got cut off because all your buddies lost their TV dates. That was the whole focus on being in America, that America had a bunch of TV dates. You had PBC on Fox and Showtime, Top Rank on ESPN, Golden Boy on DAZN. Well, all of that is gone and there's nothing you can really do about it. So you can fall in line with what things are going to be in America, or you can try to work outside of America where you're not going to be subject to all these changes to the Ali Act. Shout out to Devon Valley. Why do boxing fans critique Zuffa for how they handle fighters' uniforms and other stuff outside the ring, but ignore that fighters sign? Is it genuine? No, it's not. It's virtue signaling. Bro, it's virtue signaling, Devon. Long time no speak, by the way. Hope you good. Hope you still punching people in the face because I know you fight. They're ignoring a lot of things. I said this over and over, and it's like so many other things that I say on this channel. For all of the pearl clutching and all of the worrying about the fighters and what the fighters are going to get paid, dog, the fighters are the ones going over there. The fighters, the managers, the smaller promoters, they're the ones taking their fighters over there. So clearly, there is something going on over there that is appealing to them, in spite of all the virtue signaling online from a few. Yet things can't be that bad because fighters are going over there. And what have I been saying? Boxing as it is, regular boxing, yeah, fighters get screwed all the time, and you guys don't bat a fucking eyelash over it. So why all of a sudden are you so worried about the Ali Act? Were you worried about the Ali Act when Samson Lukowicz tried to short Edwin De Los Santos? Because that wasn't even that long ago. You weren't worried about it then. You weren't worried about it when Luis Ortiz was not told what he stood to make from the Joshua fight, and they fucked him out of all that money. You weren't worried about it when Al Haymon told Wilder to turn down the 100 million so he could end up making less with Tyson Fury. That is a direct violation of the Muhammad Ali Act, and you weren't worried about it. So why all of a sudden now does it matter? Shout out to Chico. Netflix wanting AJ versus Fury and telling TKO make it happen signals what for DAZN, Eddie and Frank Warren. What it could mean, Drew, is that they may recede to the UK market. DAZN's not about to go under just yet, but they may realize we are outgunned in America, where Zuffa primarily operates. We're outgunned in America, but they can't take the UK from us. They can't take that from us. We dominate that market. And what that could do is maybe push them out. That could do that. It might push them out. It might make DAZN as an app a more European thing, UK thing, that America, you just don't have enough to really operate in this market and make a big splash. Now, I want to talk to Eddie. You know, I got to get him on the phone. I don't have his number. But my recommendation, Eduardo, if you're going to really take these guys on, you have to sign more American fighters. Any of the stragglers from the PBC and Top Rank, if you can get Richard Torres, if you can get Emiliano Vargas, if you can get Abdullah Mason, if you can get any guys at Top Rank, you know, maybe Top Rank goes under. If you can get some of those guys at PBC, not all of, you know, the few that you can use, this is how you take them on. Because right now, they're still in their infancy. They're still making their way. They have a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of know-how. You have that. And that's what you have to use to beat these guys, if you even can. Shout out to Drew. AJ versus Miller is the biggest heavyweight fight in the USA. You're not wrong. Miller's embarrassing wardrobe malfunction. This is how crazy boxing is. That embarrassing moment for Miller has endeared him to the American populace. He was on Jimmy Kimmel. He was on the Breakfast Club. People want to talk to him. Even if he's not, you know, he's not the greatest heavyweight, yada, yada, blah, 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 right? Boxing is entering back into the mainstream consciousness when you have a boxer like Jarrell Miller doing the rounds on these very popular media sources, these radio shows, these late night shows. That means that boxing is starting to return to the mainstream consciousness in a way that it really wasn't there for years, because how often do they even have boxers on Jimmy Kimmel, right? I'm seeing more and more on the Breakfast Club that they're having boxers on there. I saw Crawford on there, Spence on there, Stevenson on there. I think Lopez was on there, right? This is becoming more and more of a regular thing. So if you did AJ versus Miller at the Garden, you know what? You might do some numbers with that. You might actually do some numbers with that. Shout out to El Cagón. Best bet for DAZN. Re-sign Golden Boy Promotions, sign Top Rank. You hit the nail on the head, because they need a stronger offering for their Americans. And they don't have that. We talked about that. We talked about that in another live last week, that the content offering for the American audience is not strong enough based on the few American fighters that Eddie has. He's got an international stable. There are Brits, there are Aussies, there's a Russian, right? You got some Eurasians in there, but you don't have enough Americans. You don't have enough Americans. So for you to really compete, especially in this market where they're going to be primarily operating, where Zuffa will primarily operate out of, you need more Americans. Drew, what it do? Undefeated, what it do?
I just seen your ticker and says what Gervonta was arrested for. Look at that, Undefeated. You see it?
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
beer on you, sweepstakes. Yeah, I think I read it last time. And
No, he was
about that,
arrested for. No, it's a new one. He's arrested for at a sex shop.
That is actually
for
designer dildos. He's
buying
buying designer
dildos,
dildos.
man.
Go ahead, Undefeated.
Man, we've seen Eddie try, bro, and he's failed miserably, bro. because he said, and I agree with you. He needs to he needs to get more American fighters. But bro, Regis homecoming fight, no. Montana Love homecoming fight, no. Um, he did sign Devin for a little bit, but no. Is honestly all 80 could do right now is pretty much retreat to the UK, and there that's the hottest scene out there right now. It's the UK.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is that you got to look at this situation as you go outside, you're trying to get some pussy. You know, you talk to 10 bitches, 10 bitches say no, you know. They don't want to give
Yep.
you the number. They don't want to go on a date. You're always one broad away from getting at some ass though.
Yep.
You're always one fighter away from the next star. Now, either Eddie is a fucking moron or I don't know what, because maybe you're looking at the wrong fighters. You've been here long enough. I don't know if you're talking to the wrong people or what, but yeah, you're looking at the wrong fighters. You need to go out west. You need to start talking to more Mexicans. You need to start talking to more Chicanos. Yeah, that's what you need to do. You need some Puerto Ricans. Between some Mexicans and some Puerto Ricans, you could dominate the East and the West Coast between some Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. If by any chance at all Xander becomes a free agent, you need to go after him aggressively. If you're going to
Oh,
overpay for somebody, that is the guy you overpay for, because in New York, he will sell. In Puerto Rico, he will sell. All right. You go after that guy. If you can get your hands on Emiliano, I don't even know how good Emiliano is. I said that the last time, that I'm kind of on the fence about that kid. I don't know if he could go all the way. But you know what? Comes from a fighting family. He's got the name. He's got the Nepo baby thing going on. He's got the fucking look. He's the right heritage. You might need to go after that
You
guy.
you could fucking give him soft touches for 10 fights in a row and build him into an attraction.
Yeah, you get him Irish. You get him Irish plumbers, British electricians. You get him. You get a couple of car mechanics from
get
Wales,
a
right?
roofer.
A roofer. You got to get him a roofer,
You
a couple of
fucking
roofers.
bring a Klansman in. Let him beat up
But
the
How
yeah,
Klansman.
looked how
There you
weak
go.
did he?
Now we're
I love
talking
that
money.
super chat. I love that super chat.
shout out to HC. Simon Jordan proved that American fighters aren't used to having their bullshit called out by the media. American media could do with an asshole like him. Yeah, because people don't. At the time, I remember 76 years ago when Larry Merchant was doing
This
his
fucking
thing.
stupid ass bitch.
He said
Let me go.
76 years ago.
Y'all niggas gonna let that slide, bro. Come on.
They are. But they didn't appreciate Larry for what he was at the time, because they didn't. We didn't. I didn't at the time. That this is a hardliner. He's here to ruffle the feathers. He's here to ask the questions like at the time. Oh, fucking Larry, always fucking with
Type
people.
shit.
We
Yeah,
didn't
you
He's
appreciate
the
said
him at
mean
the
though.
Gene Okerlund asking the heels the questions.
and I'm a big fan of Simon Jordan. Like I watch Talk Sport. I watch that show on the regular. I'm a big
Yeah, we
fan of
fucking
Simon
you
Jordan.
fucking bloke.
And no,
Yeah.
because I like him. I like Simon. I like
That
Simon
nigga
because
called you a bloke.
he's eloquent. He's not afraid to challenge the fighters. He does it all the time. He's not afraid to challenge the fighters. He'll make the fighters uncomfortable. He'll say shit that kind of hurt their feelings, right? And it's just like the super chat says. The fighters here are accustomed to the hors d'oeuvres, the little sandwiches, right? The foot rubs, the massages. They're not going to ask you nothing hard,
Ellie
bro. They're
Sec
not
back licking her ass.
right that the hand jobs under the
Nah, man, I
table.
was gonna say
That's
the
what they
hand
want.
jobs. You beat me to it.
That's what they want. And it's not like the other thing is he didn't come at Wilder. He didn't like, yo, dog. He didn't even really get to ask you shit, because the moment you realized, shit, he got follow-up questions, you know where this is going. He gonna ask you, and Wilder's a motherfucking liar. I gotta look for the video because it's buried in the past. I know how to find it though. Like, it'll take a minute, but I know how to find it. I have the audio of him telling Kevin Iole, yeah, the costume was too heavy. I have that audio. I
Julius is
used
on the
it in a
dark
video.
web. I know he is. The way he researches. That motherfucker's on the dark
No,
web.
Hell
no,
yeah.
I know I have it because I used it before. So I just have to put in Wilder versus Fury, those keywords in my search bar in the studio, and I have to look. But I have the audio. Like, yo, this dude is a fucking liar, bro. You now telling people what Kevin Iole made it up. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I have that phone call. I have that audio,
You
and You know,
It's just
Bro,
it's hilarious though. It is
undefeated is on the
hilarious.
dark web for sale with same day delivery.
yeah. You
Yo,
know,
Damn.
Top Rank not being able to get the ESPN deal, and also the legislation favoring the Revival Act has a lot to do with the prequel of MTK, getting found out being involved in American boxing.
yeah.
So the thing with the United States is, like, if there's like some messy stuff going on domestically, it's like whatever, right? Like, it's like every construction racket, healthcare racket, whatever. It's when you have like foreign intervention coming in that they're like, oh man, now we got to get on this. So with a public company like TKO willing to kind of clean up the sport. Well, I mean, they got to look after their own interests, but this is why everything is happening right now. This is why there's a delay in Top Rank getting a deal. This is why even Wilder's saying, like, yo, I got a documentary coming out. They're all going to point to the MTK. Yeah. They're all
The
going
way
to
you said
point.
it.
They're all going to point to the MTK thing coming. That's what signaled it. It's not, I don't think it's so much Turkey coming at the right time. It's just that, yo, these guys got caught. Everybody got caught with their hand in the cookie jar at the same time.
You know why I would disagree with you? I would disagree with you with this. MTK never got the chance to expand their operation to this country. Is the problem? They were on the verge of doing that, but they never really got to that point. This is more about, and I firmly believe this now because hindsight is 2020. I believe that Turkey planned his entry, and I believe that in working with all these different promotional outfits, he evaluated their strength.
How many
Remember,
advisory
think
companies?
about this. Think about this. Think about this. The Zuffa thing doesn't start right after Turkey comes into the market. Ignacio, fix your fucking mic, please. That didn't
Fucking
start.
Ignacio.
That didn't start right when he came in. That starts a year after he came in. So you done worked with Matchroom, Top Rank. Oh, you didn't work with all of them. You know what they got.
Gave them
You're
all hand
finding.
jobs.
Shut the fuck up, Drew. You're finding out all these different things about them, and now you know, like, yo, you know what? Now would be a great time to come in and monopolize this market because that we know who's in a weakened state, and we have enough money that we can make anything happen. At the end of the day, what makes the machine move is the money, after all, and whoever has more of it. Right now, as much as I love Eddie and Matchroom, if Netflix wants AJ Fury, they get AJ Fury. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
It
they'll pay
really
the
is.
step aside fee on the rights. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And what the fuck are you gonna do? So I don't think it's the MTK thing. I think that that was
Well,
something. That was
so
something. No,
there's
wait a
a
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That was something that they nipped in the bud before it even became a thing.
So there's an interview. I know this happened in the UK, but Frank Warren's at his desk. I don't know if it was what is it, IFL? I forget the name. But he slipped up and said that, oh, we don't pay the fighters. We give the money to MTK and then they pay the fighters. Very
Yeah.
similar to what's happening with the PBC. So this whole advisory entity thing, it's like it's really like a I'm not gonna say it outright, but you know what they do. If they're getting money and they're paying the fighter.
No,
Yeah,
listen.
but you're missing the point
No,
up a
Drew, don't
certain point. Go
interject.
ahead.
Don't interject. You can say what it is. It's money laundering. Frank Warren was helping NPK launder their
Hmm.
money, and it was Frank. Now, do I think Eddie Hearn was? Not really. Not really. Because I have my reasons, but not really. Frank has always had more ties to the old world of boxing and the criminality of boxing than Eddie Hearn. I don't get the impression that Matchroom was tied up in that, but I know for a fact Top Rank was. Not surprising that Queensbury was. Oscar, if he were smart, he would have got what. But he's a fucking like, bro. You're in.
Dude's a fucking cokehead. What do you expect from
He's a
him?
fucking
Yeah.
like you should have been fucking with them just on the crime shit. Like, yo, let's get some money rocking. Let's get some coke in these streets. Let's get some
Yeah.
fentanyl.
No, it's crazy that
fucking
you said that.
go.
Like, well, the moment you said that it's like money laundering, I'm like, oh, holy shit. Yeah, that's washing money for sure.
Yeah, it was money laundering. That's literally
Yeah,
that's
but
what MTK was really doing.
you could
That's
only do that if you have like offshore accounts and things like that. You're not doing all of that domestically. You just can't. Even with
no.
casinos.
But they weren't, bro. They look. This guy ran to Spain. Their HQ was in fucking Dubai. You see what I mean? Like that was all set up already. You had pictures of people flying out to Dubai to go talk to Danny Kaye. Bob is in the pictures. Fury's in the pictures. Conlon, like it's all type of people in the pictures. So all of that was
Epstein
already
was in the
set up.
pictures.
Epstein, shout out to Epstein. No, shout out to Epstein.
No, he was. They just released a photo
Yo,
of him
watch
and the
out,
Saudi.
bro.
No, they just released a photo of him and the Saudi prince, MBS, Turkey's guy.
Now, the point is that this operation mostly, not only a small portion of it made it to the United States, and that was via Bob. But as soon as they turned up the heat, you saw what Bob did. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm not fucking with this. I'm not fucking with this. Bob washed his hands of it. For the largest portion that MTK was operational, and believe me, I believe they still are. But for the largest portion of time that they were operational, they were primarily operating out of Europe, primarily the UK. You know, now I don't think they have a lot going on in America, but I will tell you this, Ephraim, I believe that ProBox is Danny Kaye. ProBox is Danny Kaye. That's him trying to sneak back in. You know, inconspicuous on a smaller scale, because what you were doing with Richard Schaefer, you may as well have been holding a flag that said, "We're MTK, bro." Yeah, you got
Now he's
friends
on
in.
his now he's
Yo,
on his Johnny Thunder shit.
correct me if I'm wrong. It really started too when they were trying to muscle old gangster Bob Arum. He's like, nah, bro. I still know people in the IRS. I'm a former IRS auditor. I'll fuck you guys, and that's why none of them can come over here.
Yeah, they stepped on his toes. They stepped on his
Drew,
toes, and when they stepped on his toes, he called his government buddies. But yeah, that's it. And if they
Drew,
would have,
Here's the skinny Jack.
Drew,
But no, but people forget Bob Arum's still a fucking gangster.
yeah,
Drew.
No, he really called him and told him that shit.
You said you were studying for your CPA or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
this is a constant thing. I know Lady Chin even, like, I'm not dissing or anything. She made this mistake in the last live she was on. I hear fighters say it. I heard Brian Norman's dad say it. They keep saying when the fight purse, they tax exactly half of the fight purse, and then they bust it down with the trainer, the manager, the promoter. That's not how it works. You know what adjusted gross income is, right? When you're
Yeah.
filing. Okay. So I don't know what, like, either they're playing dumb or they really don't know the basics of like that.
They're not
Like,
playing dumb. It's just so unregulated, like Jules is saying.
no.
That's why they don't want Zuffa, because it's so unregulated. Think about it like this. Mr. Pull-Up sells tickets. They can say the ticket is face value as long as they pay the taxes on it. And they can fudge the numbers and cook the books.
yeah, the
Boxing is
scalping.
so unregulated
And
that
I think
whatever they're
Floyd and
reporting,
I
you
think
can't
Floyd and
trust any
Haymon.
numbers they're reporting.
Right, but the purse. So first of all, there's graduated tax rates. It's not just 45% of the entire purse, right? It just doesn't work like that. This was one of
No.
the things that Brian Norman Sr. was saying. Oh, out of what was it? 1.7, 1 point, whatever it was at the time. Oh, out of 1.7, they're gonna half that. Then he's got to pay his trainer. No, that's not how it works. He pays all his expenses first, and then the rest of the money gets trickled through the
Then
different.
then it goes to the AGI, and then it goes to
Yeah,
your itemized deductions after the
right.
AGI.
And there's a lot of deductions, hotels, supplements.
Everything.
Yeah.
Going to the gym, wiping your ass every day with the toilet paper is a
Asian
deduction.
massage parlors, hand
So,
jobs, all of it.
Hey,
but for this much of the community to keep saying, "Oh, I'm getting taxed on half. I'm getting taxed on half," it's like, yo, do you guys even look at? Do
You're
you guys?
answering your own question, brother. They're dumb.
Yes,
Yeah,
No. There's no way. There's no way you could be that dumb.
Tell them, Jules. Tell them.
bro. Floyd basically gave Al Heyman power of attorney. Yes, you can be that fucking dumb. You can. You absolutely can. You should. Common sense. Why would Al need access to my money if I don't even work with him anymore? I don't even work with. I'm not even fight anymore. You
The
can't
way Al.
You can't. Look. The point being, make a long story short, these guys are all dumb, and boxing has always been full of crooks. It's never been different.
There's no way.
It's-
There's no way you're
it's-
that dumb. There's no way you're that dumb.
Bro. I see
what
it.
the fuck?
Bro, I'm serious. They are the ones who aren't really that dumb are the European ones. They've actually went to high school. Some went to college.
Yo,
Hey
Jules,
And
Jules.
you, you
Hey
know,
yeah,
you
but
know
Jules.
how many?
but also, they're the UK boxing scene is actually more regulated than this one is. This here is the Wild Wild West, like it absolutely is. Over there, they've got, even though they don't have a Muhammad Ali Act, less of this bullshit that you see here. It happens less over there. Like here, like I said, Samson Lukowicz was jerking Edwin De Los Santos. The whole boxing fans saw it. The media saw it. That Samson told Edwin, "You're getting X," when in reality, you're getting Y, right? I think it was Edwin was supposed to make 5. Samson told him he's going to make 3. What do you think Samson was going to do with the other 2? And nobody was clutching at their fucking pearls over no Ali Act. So they like it for it to be this way, unregulated, the Wild Wild West, because they profiteer from the chaos. And they don't want Zuffa to come in now because, yeah, all of that sort of goes away if they come into it. And it's not going to be stealing. Dana don't steal from them fighters. What you don't like is that he lays down the law. That's not liking him or not liking him. He lays down the law, period.
You
And
eat
y'all
what you
don't
kill.
want that. Yeah, and y'all don't want that. Y'all want it to be shady and fucked up. And the worst part is that as much as you guys might want it to stay that way, boxing will not survive if it does. Not in this country. It will not survive. The TV money is gone. You understand that? It's gone. Paramount is only fucking with Dana because Dana produces results. That's why they're fucking with him. If it wasn't for Zuffa, would they be in boxing right now? No. Paramount was, yeah, we out of here, bro. This PBC shit, we don't need that shit. They was gone in the wind. What brought them back? Oh, Dana's gonna get into boxing? Word? All right, we'll fuck with it. That's the only reason they in this motherfucker. Shout out to that dude. I hope Zuffa rewards boxers pressing the fight they do. Slick shit gets to go. It's killing the sport. Got to go. It's killing the sport. They do. They're doing fighter bonuses. They gave the fighter bonus to, who was it? Kalashzik for the last card because he got that fucking knockout. And I think they gave which was the other one? I think they gave 2 bonuses for that fight that I saw. But they are doing that. They're giving fighters an incentive to perform. And I think that boxing stands on the verge of being a business in this country for the very first time. Because that's not what it's been. It's been promoters siphoning money from the network and making filler fights all the while, because we
It's been
talked
a
about this.
Ponzi scheme.
We talked about this in a previous live. I believe it was last week, that when the promoter knows that I get X amount of dollars for the annual budget, right? They're making fights without a sense of urgency because they figure, well, I'm going to get this budget anyway. I'm going to get these fight dates anyway. I'm going to get this anyway. You're not making fights as if you need them to succeed. So if these guys are doing that and these guys are doing that and those guys are doing that, you end up with a very flat, complacent boxing landscape. But if it's performance based, then
They
no,
said
you got to
Ryo got a bonus.
I think, yeah, Rayo got a bonus. If it's performance based, yeah, it goes back to being the way that it was. The fight needs to sell. There needs to be a grassroots demand for this. Tickets need to sell. Metrics need to move. And that's how it needs to be. Boxing cannot survive in its current form. Not in this country. Maybe in Japan, maybe in the UK, and Germany seems to be doing okay now. Australia, but boxing in America, yeah, something definitely needs to change because the networks don't want it.
Well,
We're
I mean,
lucky to
like,
have
just call it what it
Paramount
is. Like,
come
it's
back.
just dead. It's
Hey
dead.
Jules.
Like, officially, boxing in
Hey
America
Jules.
is dead, bro.
Let's go back to shit on Al Heyman, right?
Yeah,
Oh
let's
If
do
you
shit.
that.
add if you add the Waddell and Reed money, the Showtime money, the Floyd Mayweather's money, how much did you think he blew?
The estimated number that he said to have blown is actually closer to $1 billion.
I thought it was 320.
No, no, no,
Nine
no, no,
hundred,
no, no, no,
nine
no,
hundred
no, no, no,
million.
no, 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 no. You're talking about just
Just
Floyd's
Floyd's.
money. If you take Floyd's money, that's 3 and change. The Waddle and Reed money, that's 4 and change or 5, and then you add the budgets. It might actually be in the neighborhood of $1 billion because you have to factor in. I believe that Showtime was giving them, what was it, 50 or 60 annually for
60.
7 years. I think it's
60.
$60 million budget for 7 years, right? whatever Fox was giving them, which I don't know. I don't know that number. But if you put all that together, Brody, you're in the neighborhood of $1 billion that he fucked off. That's not
How
crap.
how does this guy get to bend a Ryan Caldwell at a Waddle and Reed, or a Richard Schaefer at a Golden Boy Promotions, or a Steven Espinoza at a CBS Viacom? Like, what is he doing to turn these guys
Well, no,
crooked?
no. Listen. He. See, well, everybody's crooked already, to be honest. Like, bro, like people, it's not hard to turn people crooked. It's not hard. What he really had that was very convincing at that time was Floyd. That was the ultimate sales pitch for anybody in boxing. They think he's got the Midas touch because he has Floyd. Generally, people are crooked. You can convince a lot of people to do a lot of things for some money, so long as you convince them nobody's looking. So them being crooked, that doesn't matter. Like, bro, it's boxing. They're already crooked. And generally people are crooked. But the real sales pitch for him and what really got him over the line was Floyd. Who's doing all that? Was Floyd.
Floyd was his Trojan cock, bro.
Yeah, like
That's how he fucked everyone.
But you got to
that's
realize the Caldwell guy at Waddell and Reed, he made Waddell and Reed feel safe. Like, look, we're gonna make this money on this investment. I'm gonna go over there and oversee it, so we're safe. And I'm gonna take this position with PBC. And it made the fucking people of the pension feel okay. We got our guy Caldwell. He's been with us for a
Yeah,
while.
but
He's gonna
Drew,
look out
but
for us.
there's underwriting, there's auditing, like there's a lot of stuff
Bro,
that happens.
why are you being naive that you can't pay people off, bro? Where's this
yeah.
No,
naivety
no,
coming
no, no,
from?
no, no. Hold on. So, like, I'm not saying that stuff always happens and kickbacks don't happen, but like to this degree, like that fund was a huge fund.
Bro, look at the kickbacks in Minnesota with the fucking fraud of the EBT. Come on, bro. Like, this is
Yeah,
a drop in
Bernie
the bucket
Madoff,
of.
bro.
That's the
The
government
Waddle
money.
and Reed thing was way more white collar than that, though. You know?
And it's a write-off. Look at, bro, like the company that absorbed the debt. Front Row Brian tweeted it. 900 million SEC that PBC lost, and it's valued at zero. It's a drop in the bucket, bro. As long as
No,
the right
listen,
people
listen,
get paid
listen.
off.
Listen, the shit is you're assuming you guys are giving him more credit than I give him, because it's not that I think he stole the money per se. It's that I think he's a fucking moron. Your plan didn't work. It was stupid. You're going to buy time on networks that have no commitment to you and fuck off that money and get nothing in return. That's a part of what you did. A part of how you got the fighters from Golden Boy Promotions was promising to overpay them. Okay, that's fucking stupid. How are you going to get that money back? Then the other part of your plan is to go to these terrestrial networks and pay them for time to show your garbage fights. But you don't get a commitment from them after that. You're just kicking out money. What are you getting back from it? Nothing. It was a poor plan. It was a shit plan where you guys think he had this like master stroke to steal all this money. No, he just fucked it off because
Show
he's
us
a
the master
fucking idiot.
stroke.
You know what I'm saying?
It was from the back.
You don't know, because you guys are making it seem like he gets
No.
you're making it seem like he gets the Waddle and Reed money and he puts it in his pocket. No, he's a fucking idiot. He
He
spent
calls
it. He
Hans Zimmer.
fucked it off. He fucked it off. And somehow he was able to convince Fox to give him a landmark deal to show boxing on that platform. Yeah, and whatever money they were giving you annually, you fucked that off too. And why do you think, listen, why do you think he has nothing to show for it? Why do you think PBC's operations are in the gutter? If you actually did something smart with the money, like, no, you burned it because you're a fucking idiot. Like Floyd burns money on bullshit. Yeah, you burnt money. That's all it is. He didn't put it in his pocket. It's not in an offshore account, Drew. It's no, he burned it already. There's
Yeah.
nothing.
How many
to
jets did he
re-encumber.
buy when he first got the Waddle? He bought 2 jets.
There's nothing to get back. Al don't have, and it's sad for Floyd because Al doesn't actually have your 340 million. You couldn't get it back from him if you wanted to. Stefan, what you think? Stefan got it in a sneaker box in his condo. He don't have it neither. You're not gonna get anything out of this lawsuit. Nothing. But go ahead.
That's
With
karma,
that,
though.
with that whole PBC project, what fighters did he produce that wasn't part of that original Golden Boy stable that ended up separating? I think all he
Javante.
and Fundura, which is not really a sell.
Yeah, he does. I don't even count him.
So
I put him in there with Brandon. Like, yeah, you don't sell
Yeah.
nowhere, bro. You'll sell nowhere. You know, the only guys that he had that, and they didn't sell. You know, like I don't got to sugarcoat it anymore. Wilder, you didn't sell. The biggest fight that you were in was a categorical flop. The biggest fight you were in, right, in terms of numbers, was the Fury fight. It was said to have done an estimated 800,000 buys. The problem was it needed to sell 1.1 to break even. That's the story that's out there, and it's out there via multiple sources. To break even on what they spent to do that fight, you needed to sell in excess of 1 million buys. You guys peaked at about 800,000 buys, and that's the biggest fight you were ever in. Categorical flop. A fight that
is Wilder still with Shelly Finkel?
yes, he was at
Yeah,
the press
he's a
conference
moron.
today.
He's a moron.
Farrakhan Wilder's still with Finkel, bro. You
And
fired all
then
the
you just
you
answer
fired
your
all the
question, bro.
Shut the fuck up if I'm talking, Drew. You fired all the black guys to keep the old white guy, but you Farrakhan, bro. You Farrakhan. You power to the people in the movement and all the bullshit. You know, you fucking Farrakhan. Shout out to Pedro. Get these new guys out of here. Let Drew channel Satan. These young men out. What the fuck? What the
Shout out to
Channel,
Pedro, my man Pedro.
channel Satan, bro.
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead, Don.
I jumped on because I wanted to get your guys' opinion on the interview with Derek Chisora today.
Oh, I mean, look,
When Wilder flipped out on in the studio.
No. Look. I'll keep it simple, and I'll let the other guys react because my reaction is more or less already uploaded. But if that's a testament to anything, Don, it's how much the American boxers are used to softball questions. They're not used to being challenged because it's not even like Simon ambushed him. You know what I mean? You were literally just talking about all this Fury shit 2 days ago. You were comfortable talking about it. So it's not like Simon came out of left field with a line of questioning that didn't address anything pertinent to your fight with Derek Chisora. You're the one who brought it up, you know? So all that really is that, you know, a lot of the American fighters are pansies and they're soft and they don't want to be challenged. And Wilder's not prepared to answer for what he said. What you already know, that Wilder, you blamed Mark Breland, you blamed Anthony Terrell, you blamed Kenny Bayless, you blamed
Bro,
Jack
all I
Reese.
know is when the documentary comes out, everyone's gonna be quiet.
When the Hickory Dickory comes out, it's gonna be a rap for Fury, bro. When the Hickory Dickory comes out, you better watch out, Don. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. I'll be right back.
He called him the fucking the Brahms bumpkin, bro.
Oh, Mitch McConnell died finally.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
fucking guy was holding on forever, dude.
Wait,
Yeah.
Did you
today?
remember the moments where he would freeze in front of the camera and like glitch?
Oh yeah.
And then you would think, is this it?
Yeah.
Is this it?
He looks like a turtle without the shell.
That's fucking
It's just hilarious to see these dudes, skin color politics, these fucking Mulignans crying that Al Haymon, he's not named in the lawsuit. He's not named in the
Bro,
lawsuit.
I had some dude trying to fucking do all these mental gymnastics talking about like, well, if you found out that, you know, you found $300 million, wouldn't you go get it too? I'm like, bro, is that what you think happened? Like, you think they fucking found 300 million? I'm like, how the fuck do you misplace 300 million?
That shit is gone. That
That's-
shit is gone.
That's
Pendejos,
easy, bro. Look at the federal government. Look at my
That's
state,
fair.
California.
That's fair.
California.
You want to hear something very gay?
California loses hundreds
Yes.
of millions of dollars.
Ja Rule reaches out to 50 Cent. This Epstein news got me thinking our minor issue is very minor. Let bygones be
I
bygones.
know you're lying.
Gay.
That's fun. I know you're lying, bro.
No, I'm reading it right now. I'm reading it right now.
I know you fucking lying.
I just
know you
retweeted it. What's your
fucking
Twitter? What's your
lying.
Twitter? What's your Twitter?
Same handle, bro. Same handle, bro. Talking about it.
At
Gay.
Real Talk
Hey, fuck you, bro. I got the same handle across boards. No periods, no underscores. Fuck
No,
you.
I'm talking about Ja Rule. Like, hey man, I heard
That
about
is
this
that.
kid.
That's
Let's be
not
friends
real,
again.
bro.
Let's be friends again. The fuck? Yeah, but it is a bunch of race politics, and they'll just be like, oh, I remember when Al came on here 2014, and they were like, and Bob and Oscar
Nah,
and
he sees
Eddie.
how he doing Floyd and how he doing
Yeah,
Diddy. He's like, hey man, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that 50 action, bro. That's fucking gay,
Yeah.
bro.
See, it was fake. Mitch McConnell was just hospitalized. I hate when people lie on Twitter about shit like that.
Y'all are fucking pieces of shit.
you only believe that when country says it, bro.
That yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Turtle Man gets an extension of life.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fucking renew the subscription.
Yeah.
Dude, they rebooted him, dude. I
You
mean,
know what I'm
they
saying?
can't do much because it's like the mainframe's really old, so it can't host new chips. So they're running
They
out of
just take the cartridge out and blow into it and put
exactly.
it back.
That's it, dude. They have to blow it and put it back in. Say, well, let's fucking see what happens.
No, you know what? That shit that Shakur was saying about how T.O. was alone in his room and shit kind of endeared himself to the fans with that shit.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna make
Yo,
no fans off of his boxing style, but
Yeah, but he made
him
him look
having
like
a heart for T.O.
he
That
made him
shit
look like a
actually endeared
bitch too,
himself to the
though.
fans a bit,
Like he made him look like a bitch. Like, why do you have to say who cares, bro? Like, why do you have
yo,
to tell people that? Who
right?
gives a fuck, dude?
Mauricio is right next to Oscar and like can't read the room. What a dumb motherfucker, bro.
Yeah. He's making himself seem. He's making it more and more obvious that he
Mm-hmm.
needs to go. The other
Yep.
guys are quiet. Hasta Gilberto. Él no está
I can't hear
jodiendo.
Jules. Fuck.
Tú no ves que Gilberto, él no está jodiendo. He's quiet right now. You used to see him more in the past. He's quiet now, right? Because the heat is on.
Damn, shit took me out.
He should have just shut the fuck up and collect the sanction fees. That's all he's got to do.
There you go. That's what
Shut the
My
fuck up.
boy
Mauricio.
D style.
Oh, I
Mauricio's
got a
problem.
job to do. I'm there to work. Like, what are you
Maurice,
doing exactly?
yeah, exactly. Like, what work with the what fucking work was you gonna be doing, dog? What work? Mauricio's problem is he likes the camera too much. The other guys, you don't see
Yeah.
Gustavo that much. You don't see Daryl that much. You don't even see Gilberto at all these days. He know better. We know what crooked shit we be doing. I don't need to be in all these photos and all these videos. I don't need to be in front of the camera. Who's the only guy who has a podcast out of all these fucking presidents? Guess. Motherfucker got his
Fucking
own podcast.
Mauricio.
He literally has a
for real?
podcast.
I
He got a
mean,
podcast?
Yes. Martes.
I didn't know that shit
Martes.
either. That's fucking
Martes
funny,
de
yo.
Cafe. Martes de Cafe. Like, bro, this dude loves the
Mm.
camera. That's why you're making it very fucking obvious. You need to go.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Jules,
Yeah.
Jules, did
I
you
mean-
hear him? Did you hear him when he was talking to Ariel? He was like, Ariel's all like, so this is a non-profit organization. How do you make your money? And he's all like, well, I have a family business, and he can't even name the family business, but he just said something quick and then moved on real quick. Like, that motherfucker, you be lying, bro.
I was always told the only Lebanese Mexican to trust is Salma Hayek,
Yep.
not the Suleimans.
Yeah.
100% true.
I don't even
The
trust
problem, the problem with Mauricio, before I pass the D styles,
What?
the problem with Mauricio is he's making the same mistake that Danny Kinahan made. Daniel Kinahan would have made further headway in the sport if he didn't like the camera so much. But if you remember, when they launched not Disrupt Boxing, what was it called? Probellum, right? He did a video talking about, yeah, these things they saying about me is not true. Like, Brody, you're the last guy that needs to be on camera. You don't need to be in photos. You don't need to be on camera. That's one thing I'll give Al Haymon.
Mhm.
His old ass knew not to be in front of them fucking cameras, but Danny liked the cameras, and that's what fucked you up. Mauricio, you like the cameras, and that's what's fucking you up. You know what you're doing, and worse, you know that the audience knows what you're doing, but you like the attention. You want to be on Ariel's podcast. You got your own podcast. You want to be in the ring all the time. You want to be in everybody's photos, knowing the shit you doing. How much longer before they grill you? Because
He's
I
got a
heard,
slush fund going on right now, bro. It's what he's got going on with WBC.
yeah, because I heard it's a Spanish journalist that said the FBI is investigating him. They want to know, like, yo, what is
Well,
this guy doing?
No, that's
Right.
kind of like one of those like
I mean, I
like
don't
the
know if that's true, but
sociopathic things where like they like to get off on like being in people's face, knowing the things that they do. Like they get off on that shit, knowing that they're criminals and shit.
Oh, you get off undefeated?
Sometimes
Do you do the jerk off motion up and down, or do you do the reverse?
I do it sideways, bro, because my dick is crooked.
What do you do? Do you do thumb out or thumb in?
I tuck it
Bro,
in, bro.
you know what I'm saying?
No.
So
You don't understand the question. Is your thumb pointing outwards or is your thumb pointing towards you?
Oh shit, outwards, bro. Outwards. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So Mauricio's making it very obvious that he's what's wrong with the sport, and his role in it, that's what needs to be regulated. That, like, yeah, you're the fucking guys that need to go. You're the reason that we need a Zuffa boxing, because you've been given too many liberties in this sport, and you're just fucking it up and watering it down. And that's why I'm for Zuffa boxing. Go ahead, D Styles.
Well, my thing with Mauricio Suleiman is that he's a complete hypocrite. He's talking about transparency and all this other shit. Let me just say this right now, okay? He's got so much money unaccounted for, right? On the section of other, over 2 million. When the IBF only has 16,000 in that same section, something's not right. Now he'll say that goes to the Jose Suleiman fund, right? But they've actually tracked that, and it's not even half, not even close to that, has been used by the Jose Suleiman fund. This guy has a slush fund going on, bro. And look, there's nothing wrong with him taking, even though they're a nonprofit, they could take operating costs and salaries, right? They could take that. But there's obviously more going on here. But I think he should be investigated, 100%.
I think it was that fighter. Oh, go ahead, bro.
Well, I was just gonna say the one part that got on my nerves was when he did that interview with Ariel, which is like a hot stone massage, by the way, of an interview. But when he goes like this, so like with his arrogant, stupid face, and he's like, Zuffa says they don't collect sanctioning fees. Well, that's because they keep all the money. It's ridiculous. And I'm just thinking to myself, who is this dude? Like, he's not getting a slice of the pie, so it's ridiculous because he's not getting a slice.
The problem with like running a nonprofit organization is, you, like you said, you can collect fees, cost, operational costs and salaries. The problem with that is you can fucking make up operational costs.
Yeah.
You can make shit up. You can go get a fucking $100,000 ring. What the fuck you need $100,000 ring for?
Yeah,
Well, that's
Because I'm
that's
trying
what
to
makes
because
it
I'm trying to
amazing,
cop
though,
off
because
80,000 off top that hoe.
if you look at the line items, he's spending it's like 200,000 on belts, even though the promoters pay for that.
Exactly. Shit like
So
that.
I don't even know why he's like the promoters pay for the belts, right? And then he's got like 400,000 a year for for flights, which makes sense. They do travel a lot. And just all these other things, right? They're probably adding to that, but how the fuck do you end up with over 2 million unaccounted for other?
I mean,
what the fuck's the other?
Look, I think there's even more to it than that. It is the arrogance of him to try to sit there. For me, what irritated me about it is when Ariel asked him, do you think that the Ali Revival Act will be bad for boxing? He couldn't give an actual reason why it's bad. He like, if you watch the interview, you didn't give a reason why it's bad. I know what the Ali Revival. I know what additions they made, and no, none of it is bad. The only thing that I saw there that was bad was the thing about doping. That they want. I think they want half the card to be tested by VADA.
Yeah,
shit
like at
that.
least 50% of the card needs to be on
And
VADA.
that's the one thing I saw that I don't agree with, because you will wipe out the small hall promoters. Like, yeah, you will. They won't be able to operate. The cost of that will exceed the cost of the show. So that's the one thing I saw that I didn't agree with. But the rest of it is spot on. Less sanction and body belts. a higher minimum per round for the fighters. Never mind the Stevensons and all these people, but the ordinary boxers, yeah, they get more money per round. Tell me what's wrong with that. You
The,
stand in opposition of that. Why?
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Is that like the problem with standing against something that is against corruption? It means that you're for corruption.
Yeah.
I
The ones
think
who
it was
profiteer the ones who profiteer from the chaos and the unregulated sport is Mauricio. Like, yeah, you benefit from that. Go ahead, undefeated.
I think it was that fighter. I believe his name is Ismael Vasquez,
Mm-hmm.
the one that had stomach cancer.
Mm-hmm.
He reached out to Sulaiman for help, and he got denied. Yeah, like isn't that what his
Fucking
father's thing is for?
cockmaster.
Bro, but the minute he passes away on Instagram, oh, he will forever be a WBC champion. Like you son of a bitch, bro.
Bro, ahora te voy a
Shit
decir algo.
puto.
Look, for PR
Te voy a
reasons, they
decir
do
algo.
help some fighters, but yeah.
When este tipo, when Joe Gallagher was diagnosed with cancer, what did Turkey do? You know what he did? He set him up with the fucking doctors over there, bro, in Saudi. They got cancer
Yeah.
treatments over there. They got cancer treatments over there that are not even available in this country. They're on the cutting edge of cancer research over there. Next thing you know, Joe Gallagher's cancer is NED. No evidence of disease. That's what
Well,
he did
yeah.
for
Over
that
there,
guy.
they fucking actually cure cancer. Over here, they
Speaking of,
fucking profit off of it.
Yep.
I don't want to go too off topic, but since you mentioned Turkey, you remember when he said he was about to die, and that's why we had to make like undisputed for
I remember that
heavyweight.
shit.
What happened to
Well,
that?
he didn't. He didn't say. He look. He never said that he was about to die. What he did say was that he had some health issues, and people naturally assumed, dread. They assumed the worst. For all we know, he had high blood sugar or high blood pressure. All
Well,
of
he
Nigga
which
had
insinuated it.
gas.
he never said. He never said, "Yeah, yo, I ain't gonna be here." And he never said that. People
That's the
just
impression I
took it
got.
that way. People took it that way, but
That-
he
Uh,
just said, "I got
Yeah.
some health issues." That could have been gout. You know what I'm
Estaba
saying?
crudo,
Like,
estaba
it
I
could
crudo
have
el
don't
been a
know
lot.
güey.
though. Like,
Estaba crudo el güey.
I
Who said
wonder.
they had health issues?
Turkey, 2 years ago.
Oh,
I mean, it seem like, "Hey, we got to make this fight happen because I might not be here like in a couple of years." It's just how we made it sound. You know what I mean?
No,
But
and it could have been, a prognosis that wasn't good if he doesn't change something. You know what I mean?
could be.
Maybe
Yeah,
your heart is high cholesterol, right? Like, you go to a doctor's office and you get certain news, and it's fucking terrifying that, Brody, if you don't change this shit, you may not be here in a year. Shit like that. It's scary, but bear in mind, this guy's got a lot of money for the best doctors, the best nutritionists, the best meal, the best everything, right? That by now, you never know, he might have turned those health issues around, whatever they were. Maybe it
Hey,
was
I wonder if
diabetes.
like I wonder if like the Saudis will ever try to buy out these sanctioning bodies. I always thought that was going to happen at some point.
It's possible. It's possible. And they'll sell because they'll sell.
Like
You
just cut
know,
Mauricio check and be
remember,
done with them.
the WBA wasn't always helmed by Gilberto Mendoza. Remember, that used to be an American organization a long, long time ago, so
The NBA,
that they could
yeah.
end up in somebody else's hands, that's entirely possible. It could happen. Would
yeah,
would
that
it
shit
be
used to be
better?
called the NBA
Yeah, the NABA. The
or
NABA.
NABA. Yeah.
Right? So could that happen? Yeah. The question is, would it be better if it were that way? Would it be better? Would it be an improvement on the current system? I like that they're under pressure. I like that they're under fire. I want to watch them squirm, you know what I mean? But we're really only talking about 2 of the 4 because the IBF doesn't have those problems. The
No.
WBO doesn't have those problems. They don't have 4 and 5 belts in circulation at a weight. All this shit we talking about really is just Gilberto and Mauricio. Those 2.
Mm.
Now who's at the doctor's office getting the temperature taken? That I can hear voices in the background.
That's a nurse talking.
Bro,
Yeah.
D style. How
Yeah,
can you
but
have
hopefully,
Shakur over Usyk, bro?
Pretty easily. I just think he's a
What
better
the
top 5
fuck?
fighter.
Who has that?
Nah, I don't think
Easy.
that.
Easy.
Yeah, I don't.
think that.
You can't have Shakur over
Easy.
someone like Inoue or
Hey,
Usyk or
shame
people
this
like
I
man.
can
that. I
because I
mean,
Shame
do.
him.
that's
Can because I
undisputed,
do.
I
bro.
can't
That's
look.
That's
that's
I
part of
the
it.
can't.
top.
You know, pound for pound list in general, pound for pound lists are very subjective.
It is subjective.
Any way I slice that in my mind, I can't reconcile it. Like, nah, you didn't do you.
Did you hear that idiot on Max Kellerman? I caught a little bit of it, but he was like, "That's it. I have Shakur Stevens. Okay, you have Usyk. Yeah, he's done some stuff. But dude,
Was it?
Look, I'm not.
Fucking asshole! I saw that
that's what the
shit.
fuck. That's what the guy said. Oh,
Let
you
me
have
address
Usyk.
the
He's
shit.
done some stuff.
Let me address the shit because I kind of stopped wasting time on those kinds of boxing takes because you know what you're saying. He's black and I'm black and that's enough for me. That's pretty much it,
Well,
isn't
I'm
it?
not
Yeah,
black.
D style.
But here's the thing. I understand. Like, first of all, I don't like heavyweights on pound for pound list anyway. It wasn't even meant for heavyweights. But that aside, let's say we count them, right? Look, Usyk's a great fighter, but I mean, he's fighting in a division doesn't have that many skilled fighters. I mean, it is what it is. This heavyweight era is not filled with all these great fighters. Fury was never a great fighter. to me.
Teofimo is not as skilled as Tyson Fury.
Yeah, he is. I think
No,
he's
he's
way
not.
better.
No.
Is
And
that
not
why he
only
lost
that,
to George?
let me make
No,
my
no, he's
case.
not. Is that why he lost to
course
George
he is.
Kambosos because of how skilled he is?
I mean,
Is that why? Well, what about Fury arguably losing to Ngannou, making his pro debut? What about that?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think
And not only that,
Teofimo.
being out of
I
shape,
think
being fat as
Teofimo. No,
fuck.
I think
I mean,
Teofimo. I think Teofimo looked worse against George. Worse. Not that Fury looked good, but I think Teo looked worse against George than Fury looked against
yeah,
Ngannou.
but
But
Cambosos
that's
is
not
an
even.
actual
Yeah, but that's
boxer.
not even the thing. We're not arguing that Fury belongs on the pound for pound list. We're not arguing that. No,
Neither
wait,
am I,
let me
but-
make the point. Let me make the point.
Go ahead.
I'm not arguing that Fury belongs on a pound for pound list. Usyk beating Fury is bigger than Shakur beating anything because that is what pound for pound is. You are outweighed by your opponent, where we have to pretend that Shakur Stevenson has better skills than heavyweights because that's what we're doing. We have to pretend because
Of
you're
course.
never going to go up there. You're never going to fight them. This guy actually did. That's why
What
I
is-
have Usyk at number one.
All right, so
That's
we're
what
talking
it
about
is.
Teofimo who beat Lomachenko, right, and dominated Josh Taylor. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And the Josh Taylor is a very what have you done for me lately? where
Little
Fury
guys
w-
fighting other little guys, and that makes them pound for pound. Little guys.
Why not? I mean,
fighting
keep in mind
because
he
that's
was moving
I'm
up
just
another
saying
weight
that
class.
I'm just saying that is not the premise that the conversation actually
nobody
happens.
made
That seems to be
nobody made Hay
the
number
most
one when he beat Valuev. I mean, that's where we're
because it
basing
was
on.
Valuev. Was Valuev the
Well,
equivalent of
but
Tyson
he outweighed
Fury?
him by like how many pounds though? You know,
Be
like what-
that as it may, let's
mean,
play
I'm
that
saying.
game. Did David Hay go undisputed at heavyweight?
No, of course not.
Did he go undisputed at cruiserweight?
No.
Then why are you equating him to Usyk?
I'm equating the argument that if you beat somebody that outweighs you by so many pounds, I would argue that Fury is not as good being that heavy like when he was, let's say, when he fought Vladimir, where he was like 30 pounds lighter.
Oh, no, wait a minute, Seth. What the fuck are you coming in here making all this noise for, bro?
oh shoot.
Go ahead, D Styles. Yeah,
don't
like
know
what
what
the
that was.
fuck? Like the first thing you do is jump on, then go rummage in your glove compartment. The fuck?
I was gonna Glock.
Okay, well you go get that Glock, Seth. You
Look,
go
obviously
sit this one
it's
out.
all subjective. My point is, just because he beat Fury that outweighed him by 40 pounds, I'm not saying that's not impressive. Well, what I'm saying is that doesn't automatically mean you're number one pound for pound, no matter what.
And
right?
I would say,
I put Inoue above
I
Usyk
would say,
too, by
I
the
would
way.
say that while pound for pound is highly subjective, the subject itself of pound for pound, it's literally in the fucking name. It's about pounds. It's about skill overcoming size. If one little guy beats another little guy, well, that's fucking great that you little guys are down there fucking each other up. But not a single one of you will ever make it to the heavyweight division. Your assessment of being a pound for pound fighter is theoretical, purely theoretical. There's one guy who's really not a heavyweight. He's not. He didn't start out as a heavyweight. He's not built like today's heavyweights. He's rather small. And only he actually went up there and beat those guys, proving that I'm not as big as they are. I'm not. But pound for pound, I'm better. 221 pounds of me is better than 275 pounds of you, or 250 pounds of you, or 240 pounds of you. I'm better. Well, that's what pound for pound is. It's in the name. Pound for pound.
And it's always been said that a good, you know, what they say when
can't, I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I don't rate Fury that high, and I don't believe Fury is more skilled than a Teofimo. I don't think Fury is more skilled than the guys Inoue's fighting. I just don't think that's the case.
And you're not getting it that Fury's not the one who is required to be skilled.
I mean,
he's not the. You're not getting it that it's not about Fury being more skilled than Teofimo. It's no. He's required to be big as fuck. That is what he is required to be.
I
big as fuck. And
what is the better version of Fury?
Hold on. What is required of this conversation when it pertains to pound for pound, as long as I've ever understood it, it's not that the heavyweight is required to be more skilled than the smaller fighter, because he doesn't have to be. He's bigger. He's bigger. But the same way that Pablo Cano, and I bring this up all the time, Pablo Cano was not required to be as skilled as Linares to beat the fuck out of him. He was just bigger. He's not as decorated a fighter. He doesn't set up his shots better. He's not fundamentally better. But because he's bigger, he annihilated him. So Fury's not required to be the heavyweight equivalent of Teofimo. With Teofimo and Shakur, that is purely figurative, that you two little guys beating the shit out of each other, you're pound for pound. But we know Shakur will never fight a heavyweight. In fact, Shakur will never walk into a situation where he is outweighed by his opponent. But that is literally the premise for the entire conversation, that pound for pound is about me being better than you, even though you're bigger. That's what it is. It's what it's always been.
Tyson Fury was a better fighter when he weighed about 30 pounds lighter when he fought Vladimir Klitschko. Like he was a better, even though he weighed less, right? So it just, when you take that into the account, like this whole like, oh, he's a lot bigger and
why are we all right now? If you just said,
well, let me finish the point. Okay, I have a point to make, right? I'm in the middle of it. So the fact that Fury is a lot bigger and Usyk was able to beat Fury, who's a lot bigger than him, it doesn't show that he's a better pound for pound fighter than every other fighter on planet Earth. It just means he's a better fighter than Fury. That's it.
Okay. So what I'm going
Fury
to ask
almost lost to Cunningham. What does that even mean?
Okay. So you're saying that Shakur can go up there and beat Fury, right?
Who's saying that?
Because you're diminishing Usyk's win over Fury on the premise that Fury's not actually that skilled. So could Shakur do what Usyk did?
No, because Usyk's actually heavyweight. He weighs like 25 pounds.
No, he's not. No, you can't do that. If you're going to count Shakur moving up in weight towards his pound for pound status.
False?
No, I'm saying if you're using Shakur moving up to a new weight class as a premise to say, well, he's a pound for pound fighter, right? Usyk did that. He moved up from cruiserweight. He didn't start at heavyweight. He moved up from cruiserweight. You're using that to rate Shakur, but you're saying that should count against Usyk when it's the same thing. Them two dudes, they moved up in weight.
A pound for the little guys it's a bigger percentage of the body mass than the big guys. There's a big difference here, right?
There's a big difference.
Hold on. Because Shakur really wasn't even smaller than Teo, though, bro. Shakur was not smaller than Teo.
Yeah, that's the other thing, that the discrepancy. This entire conversation, this entire conversation is peculiar because literally the entire premise for the conversation is to say that even if a fighter like Sugar Ray Robinson was smaller than his heavyweight contemporaries, that's where this whole thing stems from, right? Sure. He was still thought of as being better than those fighters. Now, what's the difference?
That was the whole point of it.
Sugar Ray Robinson never actually moved up to heavyweight to fight those heavyweights, but he was thought of as being better. That's the whole premise for the conversation. That pound for pound,
is the whole premise, even though Sugar pound for pound.
pound for pound, Sugar, even though he's a middleweight or welterweight, he's better than these heavyweights. Where is Usyk different? With me, it's not figurative. With me, it's not a postulation. I literally went up there and fought those heavyweights. I proved I'm better than all those champions. That's why I have him at number one. It's like, it's common sense. With every other fighter on the list, it's figurative. Inoue is never going to fight a heavyweight. Shakur is never going to fight a heavyweight. Crawford was never going to fight a heavyweight. This is one of the few fighters.
Finito Lopez will never fight a heavyweight.
Will never fight a
So why
heavyweight.
do they never fight a heavyweight? Well, what does that even mean?
Because as long as there's somebody, because as long
that's the whole
as
reason.
long
That's the
as
whole
there's
reason.
someone-
he's
No, it's
styled
not.
that
Okay,
pound
so
for pound.
okay,
stop,
no,
stop. Hold
okay,
on.
so tell me. Okay, so tell me. When
This-
Floyd
you
Mayweather
guys
was fighting,
listen to what you're saying. Well, he'll never fight a heavyweight, so therefore he's not as good as Usyk, right? That's not pound for pound.
That's not
right?
what he said.
You're describing the heavyweight champion of the world. That's fine. I get that, right? But when Floyd Mayweather was the number one pound for pound, he wasn't number one pound for pound because he was
there
fighting
an
guys.
Usyk? Oh, I know, but was there an Usyk? Was there a guy like Usyk around when
It wouldn't
Floyd was
even.
fighting?
I would not have put Usyk above a Floyd Mayweather.
That's not what I asked.
I wouldn't.
That's not what I asked.
No,
This
no.
is one of the rare. Why was Roy? Why was
no,
Roy?
I know that's not what you asked,
No, wait
but
a
you
minute.
did.
Come on. Why was Roy considered after fighting John Ruiz? John Ruiz was not more
He
skilled
was pound
than
for pound
Bernard.
way before John Ruiz.
I'm
way
just
before
saying, why was he considered though? Why was it a
But
big deal? Why was it a big deal that Roy
Right.
Jones Jr. goes to heavyweight and fights John Ruiz? It's not something that everybody can do, you know. You have to be pound for pound to do that. Even if the guy you're fighting isn't the best heavyweight in the division, which he was not. It's not like he went up there and fought Lennox. You fought John Ruiz. That was a very opportunistic opponent, right? But still,
Yeah,
it matters
the
that
low-hanging fruit.
it matters that Roy Jones Jr. started out as a junior middleweight, and he is good enough, skilled enough. I can beat this heavyweight, even though he's bigger than me. That's what pound for pound is.
Yes, he
But,
moved up to fight
but
John
even if
Ruiz.
he
I
didn't
get
do that,
but
bro, even if he didn't do that,
But he was
that,
number
he would
one
still be
before
pound
that,
for
though.
pound.
he was
Oh,
number
yeah,
one
he
pound
was
for
thing with
pound,
pound for
way
pound.
before that.
Like people misunderstand pound for pound, bro. It's a historical thing. It's like, is a pound of gold worth more than a pound of feathers?
Like,
Yeah,
let me
No,
put it
that's what
this
it
way,
is.
right? Let me put it this way: pound for pound, an ant is stronger than us, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But you're saying,
But a pound of
an ant
ants
cannot
still
overpower
would
me, so it
lose.
doesn't
But a
matter.
pan-
The little
but a pound
ants
of
are
ants
competing with the little
would
ants.
still
Like, what does
lose
that
to you
even
in a
mean?
fight, bro. A pound of ants would still lose to you in a fight.
No. See,
Like,
you're using.
I'll
you're
put it
using,
real simple.
Well,
Let me just make
can
this
I
quick
can I
point.
get can I get a word in on my own podcast? Thank you.
Go ahead.
You just said that an ant, a little ant, is pound for pound stronger than us, but it can't
Yes.
actually beat us. You're absolutely right. Now, if there actually were an ant that fought one of us and beat one of us, like Usyk actually fought heavyweights and beat heavyweights, right?
But he's
even
not
though
an
he
ant,
really
though.
isn't, even though he really isn't one himself, he is not a heavyweight, not by today's standards. He's not. 6'3",
No, like you keep
221.
saying he is one, but he has to eat his
is
way
He's
up
a
to
heavyweight,
heavyweight.
brother. He weighs
He is
225.
kind of a
Okay,
heavyweight.
yes, but he had to eat his
Now.
way up to heavyweight. He had to
Right.
pack. He had to
Yeah,
pack
he
that
had
weight
to get
on.
there.
No,
He
he
had to
didn't.
get
He
there.
cut
He's
weight
even
to make
said
200.
that the food makes him sick. How much he has to eat to get up to heavyweight.
Yeah, he gets tired from it.
To
He
me,
weighs
it's
So
225.
if he actually were to work out and to not like eat healthily and
I
not
just
do all that, he would actually cut down to probably like
Hopefully.
listen.
two
To me,
ten, maybe
it's
200.
a very to me
Damn
it's
it, I
just
can't hear
kind
him.
of inconsistent. To me, it's inconsistent to say, well, because Shakur moved up in weight and fought a guy, oh, he's pound for pound. But Usyk did the same thing. He moved up and fought a guy. So you're saying, oh, well, Usyk's a heavyweight now, so that doesn't count. Okay, then Shakur's a super lightweight now, so that
No,
doesn't
I
count.
never said nothing doesn't count. And those words never came out of my mouth. What I said was, and I said it very clearly, right? Usyk's best win, right, at heavyweight would be Fury. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Okay. Okay. In context, this was a Fury who was
Joshua.
fat, had love handles, okay? All right. Is clearly about 20, 30 pounds over his optimum weight. All right, because that's what matters at heavyweight, optimum weight. He's not at his optimum weight. He just isn't. All right, and he was arguably coming off a fight he should have lost to a guy making his pro debut in Francis Ngannou.
But
That's the
His head
state
that's
of
Fury's
Tyson
fault.
Fury.
That's
serious,
Fury's
though. He
fault.
It's not
didn't
even
That's
that.
serious.
It's
Fury's
that you're
fault.
making
It
you're
doesn't
making
matter
the
if
That's
it's his
same.
Fury's
fault or not.
fault for
You're
coming
making.
in
It's not even
out of
that.
shape.
You're making the same argument all over again as if we're rating Fury as a pound for pound fighter. You're doing it again when Fury's not
No,
the
no.
one whose skills
I'm
we're
putting
rating.
context
We're not
in his
rating. We're
win.
not. Okay, that's awesome, but we're not rating Fury's skills. He's not the pound for pound fighter. What we're rating is Usyk's ability to overcome size with skill. That's what he's done more than Shakur, more than any of them, because they have not had to deal with the size discrepancies that he's had to deal with. When has he walked into a fight where a guy outweighs him as much as Fury outweighed Usyk, or AJ outweighed Usyk, or Dubois outweighed Usyk, or Chisora outweighed Usyk? They're never going to walk into a situation like that. That's why pound for them is just the postulation. It's not palpable at all. You are never going to walk into a situation where there is a discrepancy in weight by that much. This guy literally did. He does it all the time. That's why he's number one. He's proven they could be bigger than me and I will still beat them. That's pound for pound.
I think D style.
Hell
I think
yeah, that's
you're
pound for
That's
pound.
not.
discrediting.
That's
Hold on, real quick, because you're discrediting for as unskilled as you think these heavyweights are. You're discounting how much weight and size does actually play a
let
factor
me tell you
into the
how
fight.
unskilled I think these heavyweights are. Okay, I think Muhammad Ali weighing just as much as Usyk will beat the fuck out of Usyk. I'm sorry,
No.
Tyson
I
Fury.
doubt that, bro.
I think
It's
he
not-
would he would box
it was
circles
different
around
eras.
this dude. This
I
dude
think
almost
you're
lost to
wrong.
Cunningham. He got dropped by
No,
Cunningham.
man.
You
What
know
do you
what
think
it
Ali
is?
would do to
No.
this
When did he
dude?
ever see that style? When did Ali ever deal with that style?
A 218-pound Wilder was putting work on him at times. I mean, come on.
Yeah, listen. I you know why I disagree with that? Because I saw the Sonny Banks fight. I saw the Henry Cooper fight. Like, I love Ali. That's literally one of my favorite fighters of all time. But
Better fighters than the fighters today.
better
It is what it
cardio, I
is.
would say. Better cardio, and they're tougher. I'll give them that. But that's not the point. The point is that once again, you keep evaluating skill.
I think
in
George
terms
Foreman
of
knocks all
Usyk's-
these dudes out. All of them.
That's all. That doesn't have nothing to do with what we're talking about, though. Bro.
No, it does because
No, it doesn't.
Here's my point.
You're
say
rating. You keep
hold
rating a heavy. No, bro.
It's
I was
about-
literally in the middle of a point, bro. You keep rating the skills. What you think of heavyweight skills, dog. I just said we're not rating heavyweight skills. We're rating Usyk's skills against men who are bigger than him, because that's what pound for pound is.
That's not what pound for pound is, though. You're making up that rule. That's
Yes,
not
it
what it
is.
is.
No, it actually
No, it's
is.
not. That's not what pound for pound is, bro. Pound for pound. No, it's not. You're
No,
basically saying that.
Tell me then.
hold
No,
on.
wait. Tell us then. Tell us real quick.
No. I explained what pound for pound is, but let me first say it because I was going to make this point. Right? When I bring up the Fury point and these fat heavyweights, you say, "Oh, we're not rating them." No, we use them as a measuring tool. We got to measure their skill sets, okay, and equate it with their size, along with Usyk's size. We have to.
Okay,
equate all these things.
Shakur's win over
You
Teal
can't
wasn't
say,
anything that
we're
hadn't
not
already been done
measuring
before then.
Fury as pound for pound. Like, you can't just say that.
I didn't.
Okay,
say,
well, then Shakur's win over Teal isn't something that hadn't already been done before.
All pound for pound, this is all it means. All right. Who's the best fighter in boxing, regardless of weight class? That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything else.
No,
right?
you're removing.
If you want to say, if you want to value,
you're deliberately
regardless
removing.
of weight class,
we're not gonna
regardless
do
of
that.
weight class,
No.
including heavyweight.
But
Listen.
I wasn't finished.
removing. You're deliberately removing context, because that's not where that conversation exists. That's not what formed that
100% is what it
conversation.
means.
They were comparing Sugar Ray Robinson specifically to his contemporaries. That's where it exists.
Joe Louis. They were comparing him to Joe Louis.
There you go.
Dude,
okay.
that's even the
And
definition
he was
of
and he was thought of, even though he was smaller. What you're basically saying is 160 pounds of Sugar Ray Robinson is more skilled than 210 pounds of Joe Louis. It has
Do
everything
you know who
to
the
do
poster
with weight.
child for pound is?
Okay.
Do you, Styles?
I didn't hear your question.
Do you know who the poster child for the pound is?
You're talking about Ray Robinson?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, I've done whole videos about it, brother.
Okay, but so then you know what the
Super
actual meaning of pound for pound is then.
Let me read
I
these super chats. Cameron is the closest thing you have to Jordan. He stood up to Shields and Shakur. He doesn't need approval or access to the. You're right. You're right. Shout out to Cameron. Shout out to Killer. Kevin said, I agree with D-Styles. Heavyweights, especially modern day ones, are less skilled than lower weights. 135-pounder with Fury's skill set would be flipping burgers. And I agree with you.
Okay,
The
well, there
problem
we
is,
go.
I agree with that.
What
The
do you mean?
problem is you guys are making the same point. You're talking as if the heavyweight is required to be the skilled one. No, the smaller fighter is
No,
required
but
to be the skilled
can I
one.
make a point to
He's
that? Because I've been
requi-
trying to get to this point.
He's well, I would like to finish my point before you try to make yours, because this is very simple. Pound for pound has always been about skill overcoming size. Unless you're overcoming overwhelming size, it's not actually really pound for pound. Pound for pound
Really,
is
it's really skill
what
for
this guy
skill.
said. What this guy said is literally what it is. A pound of gold is worth more than 10 pounds of cat hair. A pound of gold is worth more than 20 pounds of dog shit. That's what that means. So you think Fury's dog shit. Hey, that's awesome. But that was a lot of dog shit. And all it took was this many pounds of Usyk to expose that. That's why he's pound for pound.
That's true.
It's not
That's
complicated.
True,
It's not complicated.
and look, the way he's saying the heavyweights, they're not like, man, we still have some of these heavyweights that are like,
they're just not
they
that
know the
skilled, brother. I don't know
fundamentals.
what
They're
to
not.
tell
They're
you.
pretty skilled. Like they're pretty skilled. Like trust me.
Yeah,
I'll be
but
watching
you
some of the
already said
heavyweights
you
looking like,
already said you already
can't-
said which I say. The pound for pound list is not for heavyweights. This was not for career heavyweights. Okay, then why are you rating their
Well,
skills? You're the
skill-
one rating their
skill
skills.
for skill. You know, a
Well, because
heavyweight
I was
might have
asked
more
why don't I have
skill
Usyk
in
number
that
one
weight
pound
class.
for pound. That's why I didn't just randomly bring it up. People asked me, right? So like, why do you bring it up? Well, that's why we're talking about it. I was asked about it, right? But as far as
you said that you don't rate the heavyweights. You don't think that they
don't.
belong on the pound for pound list, right? Okay, awesome.
They do.
So what I'm saying
They
is
do.
no. What I'm saying is on that predication, if you say that you don't rate the heavyweights in terms of the pound for pound list for their skills, then you shouldn't be evaluating Fury's. He's not the one that's supposed to go on there anyway.
Hold on.
It's Usyk.
Here's the thing. We have to evaluate everything, right? We have to measure the skills.
We have to do that if we
I got
want
interrupted
Shakur.
again.
We have
And
to
then when
do
I-
that if
what are
we
we doing?
want Shakur, who is less accomplished than Usyk, to be rated ahead of him. If we want to create this argument, then we got to do all that shit, because the argument doesn't make sense. Shakur's opponents are not better than Usyk's. They're literally not. They're not. No. His cruiserweight run is better than any run you've had, including beating Teofimo. I don't think Teofimo's that good.
I think Teofimo's better than any of the cruiserweights, incling Breidis.
I don't think he's better than
Breidis.
Breidis.
No,
I
I
do
don't
not
even
think
think
he's
he's
better than
better.
Breidis.
It is
I don't
what it
think.
is.
Yo, you
Let me
want me
put
to
it
be
this way.
real? I think he's better than Bellew. I
Okay,
don't think
like-
he's better
He's
than
not.
Bellew.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that at all. Actually, in fact, none of those cruiserweights. I would argue none of those cruiserweights had the skills of a Lomachenko, for example. None of them, and Teo beat Lomachenko.
Barely.
So it's just what it is.
That's different,
right?
bro.
I don't think
barely.
any of those dudes are. As
And
good
then
as Josh Taylor.
Cambosos beat Tio, bro. That's
Oh, you
ass.
tripping, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
that doesn't make any sense, bro.
that's
So we
tripping,
gotta
bro.
count. We gotta
Fury
count
has
that he
more
beat
fucking
Loma,
toolbox
but we don't
than
count
George.
that he
So
lost
you
to
think?
George.
Damn, bro.
Hold
Like,
on.
come
Let me ask a
on,
question.
bro.
Can I ask this question?
What? Hold on. I'll ask
You-
this question
you really
first.
believe
What
that-
Cambosos did Usyk lose to?
You really believe, right? Because he beat he beat Lomachenko, right? So it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me right now that you believe Breidis is better than Lomachenko?
Yeah, I do.
No, he's
I
not.
actually do.
Yeah, he is.
I actually do.
No.
I actually do. Because I've
I
never
mean,
been that.
that's your opinion.
no,
I
no.
disagree.
Okay, well, let's get into the opinion before I smoke the cigarette. For starters, you're talking to the wrong guy about Loma. Real talk knows I've never been that impressed with Loma. Well, Rocky Martinez,
Yeah.
Linares, and Pedraza. Let me try not to fall out of my fucking chair. My God, you beat Axeman off a year layoff? Oh my God. You did the shimmy on Mariaga? Oh my fucking God.
Hey, it's all good because that if you think Breidis is a better fighter than Lomachenko, it's
do.
all good, brother. That's what you believe.
I do.
Loma
I do.
knocked out the guy that
I never
beat
saw
Tio.
Breidis on any pound for pound list, by the way, but you believe he's better.
Well, let's pretend that pound for pound lists are rated evenly. that they're going to count a Latvian. Kazuto Ioka was a 4-weight world champion, barely ever made it on the pound for pound. Dani Nietes was a 4-weight world champion, barely ever made it on the pound for pound. Kosei Tanaka was a 3-weight world champion, barely ever made it on the pound for pound. So that if I don't see Breedis there, yeah, that's not an indictment on him. That's an indictment on the people that make the pound for pound.
Well,
I think
Ioka and
Breedis
Nietes
is
were
the
never
same
rated.
dude that I knew Opetaia was going to beat up. That's who he is.
Yeah,
right?
because by then he was old.
Yeah, because he's
by then
older
he was
now.
This is
old.
what it is. Okay, he got old overnight. Okay, cool.
But it's not.
No,
is what
he
it is.
got
No.
older as in
Cállate,
he's
coño. Cállate, coño. It is, but it's not is what it is. It's not is what it is when Lopez loses to George, right? Then it's not is what it is, right? Give me a break.
It was a big upset. It was a terrible performance.
Well,
by
look, I
Teofimo
think I'll
Lopez.
give it to Tio though, because he did.
But
have
in their
a-
rematch, we
that
both
fight.
know Tio will whoop his ass, though, right? Like we know that.
I think
so it's
Tio
all
did
good.
come in with an injury in that fight. I mean, come on now. We
Everyone
gotta say,
know.
but
Like,
he still
look,
lost, bro.
I don't
He
need
still
to
lost.
explain
It was a close fight.
what do you guys
but he
understand
still
already.
lost to a C level fighter though. A C level, a D level fight. I don't even think Kambosos was a.
Look, the
a
Kambosos
C-level
win
fighter.
is
That was
it's
like
an
the crown jewel of
embarrassing
his
loss. It
career.
is what it is. Like it's an
Well,
embarrassing
yeah,
loss
like
for
I said,
Teofimo.
Tio, he got a split decision going into that fight with the injury. Yeah, I think in a rematch he'll beat his ass, but still, he lost that fight, and when he lost that fight, he lost all them belts. He lost the aura he had, you know. So yeah, bro.
We saw
Yeah,
what
he became
Lomachenko
a
did to
loser.
Kambosos, right? We saw what Loma did to Kambosos.
He was a loser.
Yeah,
Yeah, what happened to
Right.
all the
he
power?
stopped him. Yeah.
So right. He dominated and he won every second of every round. Loma did against the dude, right? So sometimes
Against who?
fighters have bad nights. I think the stars align for Kambosos. I do think that Teofimo Lopez was not in great condition to be fighting that night. It was his decision, and it is what it is. Everybody knows that. I don't need to be explaining all this.
I mean,
You
you
guys
could
know
argue,
this.
but you could make that same argument for Lomachenko
Yeah,
in
for sure.
the
Yeah,
Tio
I mean,
fight.
like I said, he
Hold
came
on, real
into
quick.
that
Hold
fight
on.
with
You,
the
you
injury.
hold on,
It's
real quick,
tough, bro. He probably
because
could
you're
have
saying
died.
you're
Like,
saying that Tio wasn't
injuries
at his
like that he
best.
came in with. Yeah, it kind of sounded like, and then he didn't look as good. But I mean, we've seen this with Tio too. He didn't look good with Sandro Martin, but he didn't come in that fight with an injury. He was 100% healthy with the Sandro fight. So yeah, man, like I'm not gonna say Tio got skills like that. Like Usyk got more tools in the toolbox than Tio. Let's just put it that way, bro. Because it is, bro. Like Usyk got more tools, more skills than Tio. Tio don't have the Usyk skills. He don't have nothing like that. He's good. He's a good boxer. He got great fundamentals. But when you look at it,
Well,
skill
I mean,
wise,
it
he's
is weird
not
because
like.
I'm
we're
a
not
fan of
comparing
Usyk.
Tio to Usyk though. We're
Yeah.
comparing
But like I said,
Shakur to
like
Usyk.
Usyk got more skills than Tio.
You're
I
under the
even think
impression that
Shuri.
I don't like Usyk or something.
No,
I'm a
no,
big
no, no,
Usyk
no. I'm
fan.
just saying,
No. We're just
Tio
we're just
is
saying
a
that he
good
deserves to
boxer,
be pound
good
for pound number
fundamentals
one.
and all that. But I never even put him up like that. Like, when he beat Loma, I guess I put him up in the pound for pound list. But to me,
Look, I got to keep
he
it real
just
with you
didn't
guys,
have
man.
I mean, even when he won his first belt.
Let's put Shakur to the side for a moment. I don't think Usyk is a better pound for pound fighter than Inoue. I don't. I think Inoue's a far more skilled fighter. He's a better fighter than him. If Inoue was 225 pounds and could move like that, he would slaughter all these heavyweights. That's what pound for pound means.
Yeah,
right?
but I don't think his skill. Look, the thing is, Usyk got. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard.
No,
When's the
because
last
look,
time you seen
no,
Usyk
because
hit
can
when
I
have you
ask
ever
you,
seen?
Will?
Hold on,
hit the
just one
canvas?
sec, just hold
When's
on,
the last
just
time
real
Usyk
quick.
hit the canvas?
Yeah,
When he got hit in the
there you
nuts
go.
by fucking
If you let somebody
Dubois,
else
like
fucking
that,
talk for a
like
second,
and then we've seen when he moved up Inoue again to a different weight class. Yes, we've seen him get dropped. So skill wise, they both skill fighters, but if you look at it in a way, like, yeah, bro, I still haven't yet seen someone put this guy down on the canvas.
Can I
like
just ask
someone.
one question?
Go ahead.
If there was a guy with a skill set of Inoue that weighed just 200 pounds and could move like that at heavyweight,
he'd be getting dropped.
no.
He's getting dropped now. What are you talking about?
He's getting dropped against guys around his weight, bro.
Exactly.
He
Well,
doesn't
These
he,
weigh
guys
he
will
more
be
went
than
yeah
bigger
that.
than him.
he's moving up. He's fighting these guys, and yeah, he's getting dropped by some. But the thing is, the way he fights is what he get. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes he throws caution to the wind and just goes for it. I mean, the man literally got dropped by two guys with the same shot because he went in and tried to fucking box inside and knock him out. You know that's the thing. Skill wise, someone skilled like that isn't gonna do it. Clearly, he's a guy that caution to the wind. This is why we love him the way he'll fuck up people and shit. But especially if he does that in the heavyweight, he's gonna get knocked out, bro. Imagine Inoue doing that in a heavyweight fight. If he's a heavyweight and he going in and he get dropped like that, bro, it's gonna be over. That Inoue ain't gonna probably recover like he did in the
I mean,
smaller divisions and shit. So
the thing is that
it's kind
size
of different, bro. You
matters.
can't say it. Yeah, no, but
The
you
thing
can't
is,
say it like that.
the thing is, size matters in boxing, and people like to pretend that it doesn't, but it absolutely matters. If you have enough size, you don't need to be the more skilled fighter. That's absolutely 100% true. As much as I like Inoue, if you put him at welterweight, yeah, he's going to get overpowered. He absolutely is. The same would apply to Chocolatito and any of the smaller weight fighters who were once ranked at number one. Shakur Stevenson against the super middleweight, I'm sorry, he's getting his fucking ass kicked. But are you actually outweighed by that super middleweight as much as Usyk was outweighed by Fury? No. No. Size matters. But it didn't matter to Usyk. He won. He's number one for me. I don't know
I
what
never
the
argued that size doesn't matter, but pound for pound is in spite of size, not because of size. Right?
Yeah,
So,
for the pound for pound fighter, which is not Fury, it's Usyk.
I guess you're arguing an antithesis of it. So like, if you just go by that, then there will be no need for a pound for pound list, like at all. You could
You
just
have
say
a
the
list.
heavyweight
You
champion.
have a list because there isn't always a guy who's good enough to make it up to fight heavyweights. That's why you have a list. Even the father of the the poster child of the pound for pound, the one that the fucking whole premise of this conversation is modeled after, he never actually made it up to heavyweight to fight heavyweights. He never actually did. That's why you have a list. You can have runners up, and you can have guys at number one who never fought a heavyweight, sure, unless there's a guy who did. The guy who did, yeah, for him, it's not a postulation. It is a reality. I'm smaller than them, but I can beat them. For you, it's just figurative.
So I just want to clarify one thing, all right, and why I don't believe people should put heavyweights at pound for pound. All right, people will say make an exception for Usyk, whatever, but that's because if you remove pound for pound, because pound for pound is a mythical list, right? That's what it is. You're supposed to evaluate these guys as if they were all the same size. That's what it is, right? But that in reality, you're correct. Size matters. I never disputed that, right? The heavyweight champion of the world is always the best fighter in boxing. Always. Okay? Like Tyson said it best. When you're a heavyweight champion, that means nobody can fuck with you from featherweight to whatever, right? That's what it means. But pound for pound, though, right? Because it was made in spite of the heavyweights, not for the heavyweights. That's why I personally don't think they belong in pound for pound list. That's the way it is.
Usyk is not a career. Yeah, but Usyk is not a career heavyweight. So if what you're telling me is that because Usyk now moved up to heavyweight, he's a heavyweight, I guess Shakur's not pound for pound. He's a super lightweight. He's not a 35er who moved up to 40. No, he's a 40 because that's what you're doing to Usyk. You're acting like he's been there the whole time.
I'm not doing anything to Usyk. Like you're acting like I'm victimizing.
You're saying,
right?
I'm saying that you're telling me that because he's at heavyweight now. Oh, heavyweights don't go on the list. Okay, then Shakur must not go on the list
I'm not
because
saying that at all. You could do whatever you want.
Look, I get it for you, my dude. I get it for you though. Look, I would put Usyk because of one thing too. He's like he fought 4 times this year. You know, that's why I would even put him up number one, maybe because the activity, the most pound for pound fighters I look like, they gotta be active, yo. You fighting once a year, you're not gonna stay number one, bro. Like Bud, like look, he's number one, but let's say he would not retire, but he'll fight a year later, like he's done these couple times. Like that, he's dropping down the list. Like, you know, most of these fighters I look at in the pound for pound list, they gotta be active as well, you know.
Shout out to Kevin. You used Roy as an example. Roy started at 160, not 200 like Usyk. Huge difference there, bro. Granted, he started at junior middle actually. But still, the point of Roy going up to heavyweight is he's obviously not a heavyweight. He is outsized by a lot. Unless I'm mistaken, and you can go check this, the discrepancy in weight between Usyk and Fury is greater than the discrepancy in weight in Roy and John Ruiz. Usyk was fighting a man who's a lot bigger than him. So I would say that makes a stronger argument. Why? Because this is about pound for pound. It is about weight. It is about size. It's not about a lot of other shit. It's about that. Skill overcoming size. He fought a bigger guy than
What
any of the
is the
guys y'all
best-
gonna fight.
What is the best Fury's ever looked in your opinion? Ever?
The best I would say was with Wilder in the second fight.
Okay, I would. He looked really good in that fight. I would say it was a Vladimir Klitschko fight. Is where I think he looked his best.
You're thinking in terms of skill. I'm thinking in terms of
And-
what was his most dominant
I'm
victory.
saying, like, what I'm telling you is that the lighter Fury that fought Vladimir Klitschko would have been a tougher fight for Usyk than the big fat one he fought. So while I could appreciate you saying that
That's
he
not
would have to
Usyk's
overcome-
fault, though.
I never said it was his fault.
I mean,
Like,
he's still rating. He's still
nothing-
rating Fury. He's still rating Fury's skills when he just said
We
the
have to
pound for
use
pound
something
lists
as a
are not
measurement.
for heavyweights.
I
So
can't use
if
them
they're
as a
not for
measurement.
heavyweights, if they're not, it's your argument. It doesn't make sense. If you're saying I don't rate heavyweights on a pound for pound list, then why are you talking to me about Fury's skills for?
Because we're
Wait,
measuring
if you don't
Usyk's
rate
skills.
heavy, Usyk's the skilled one because he's the smaller one who had to overcome
but-
size. You're talking to me about
Are you not
Fury's
getting my
skills as
point,
if I'm
though?
saying no, I'm not, because you're talking to me about Fury and his skills as if
Right.
I'm saying Fury is pound for pound. No, that's not what I said. I said Usyk is pound for pound.
But
That's what I said.
What I'm
Usyk
saying
is
is
pound for
this.
pound.
This is all I'm saying. All right. Forget about what I said about pound for pound list for a second, and just focus on what I'm saying about just Usyk and Fury. Okay. I believe that the Fury that fought Vladimir Klitschko is the best Fury we've ever seen. Right. I believe that Fury, even though he's about 30 pounds lighter than the Fury that Usyk fought,
Hell no, I don't.
would have given Usyk a much better fight, even though he was lighter, because it was a better optimum weight for him. That's why.
Okay, now I'll tell you what I believe. I
That's all I'm saying.
believe the fattest Fury and the skinniest Fury both beat Shakur Stevenson in a real life setting.
It probably eats
believe-
him alive. Yes.
I believe that cruiserweight Usyk and heavyweight Usyk, they both beat those two guys that fought, beat everyone on the list. Everyone. T.O.,
What was-
Shakur. I want to make
but-
my point. That's all. I just want to make my point because I let you make yours. I didn't interrupt. They beat all those guys on that list. Now, what sets Usyk apart? Even though he's the smaller man, he's good enough to beat that bigger man. That bigger man that would mop the floor with everybody on the list, right? You said it yourself. The heavyweight champion is already the baddest dude. He's already the best fighter. Yeah, because let's take away the myth bullshit. If any one of you little fucks tried to fight him, you would lose because of his sheer size alone. Fuck your skills. They're not good enough to overcome this guy's size. You know whose is? Usyk. That's why he's number one. None of you could beat the guy that he beat. None of you. None of you. None of you.
So Floyd Mayweather was never gonna be able to do go to.
Was there?
cruiserweight and
Okay,
beat a
but
cruiserweight, right?
and I concede. Was there? I concede. Yeah, Floyd was number one, but was there an Usyk when Floyd was fighting? Was there an Usyk? A cruiserweight undisputed champion and a heavyweight undisputed champion. Was there one?
It doesn't matter if there was or there wasn't.
It does matter, because if there was one, then we could have that conversation. If there wasn't one, then this is a false equivalency argument.
When
We don't
Evander
have nothing to
Holyfield
compare it
was
to.
undisputed, like a lot of people thought Pernell Whitaker was the best pound for pound fighter in the world. But people, are you going to argue why he's not going to go up there and beat the heavyweights? That's not even what pound for pound means.
That is what pound for pound means. It's just
No,
people
it's
change
not.
it whenever it's convenient. People always change it whenever it's convenient.
No.
It's very clear what pound for pound
You
is.
have your
They just
definition
change it whenever
of
it's
it.
convenient.
Right? Like you have your definition of it, but to me, it's pretty simple. Pound for pound is Like it just means who's the best fighter in boxing, regardless of weight class. That's all it means at the end of the day. When you say things like, "Well, Shakur cannot go to heavyweight and win a fight," well, duh, right? Floyd Mayweather or Crawford were never good enough to go to heavyweight and beat those heavyweights either, right? But they were considered number one pound for pound, right?
By
Well, what
some.
does that even mean?
By some,
So
not all.
if by chance Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly fought each other, right, and there was an undisputed champion, you would put the winner of that fight over Floyd Mayweather as pound for
No,
pound
because
Floyd
pound
couldn't
for-
go up there.
See, now you're being obtuse because you're using false equivalency arguments you know don't qualify. Was Klitschko a cruiserweight? Was Fury a cruiserweight? You're deliberately being obtuse. You know
Okay,
that
so
Usyk
let's
is
say
not
when
a.
Holyfield-
You know,
okay,
no,
let's say when
no,
Holyfield did it.
let's not, no. Get off the Holyfield thing. You just made that example,
it's
and
the
I'm
same
saying
example.
Usyk is a cruiserweight who moved up to heavyweight, and yes, for a period there was an argument for Holyfield to be number one. There was an argument. There was. But, you know, he did lose to Riddick Bowe. He did lose to Michael Mora. There are other reasons why he wasn't the consensus number one. He did start losing quite a few fights as a heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the fight that Usyk lost at heavyweight.
I never said Usyk lost a fight.
But you brought up Holyfield as his
I
as
brought
his
up
parallel.
Holyfield when Holyfield became undisputed, and then that's when I brought it up.
Did he stay undisputed?
No, he didn't.
Did he stay
But
undefeated?
it didn't
Did he
make him
stay
number one pound
undefeated?
for pound the moment he became undisputed. Is what I'm saying.
All I said was there was an
No,
argument. for him
I'm
to
just
be
saying
number
what
one.
I
There was
said,
an
and you
argument.
added to what I said, right? Full stop. When he became undisputed, like Usyk's not retired yet, he could lose his next fight for all we know. Well, we don't know what's going to happen next, right? When Holyfield became undisputed champion, it didn't automatically mean because he's a heavyweight. Therefore, no, that's it. He came from cruiserweight. He's undisputed heavyweight champion, so that automatically makes him, the number one pound for pound fighter.
And I'll
That's
tell
not
you,
what it meant.
now tell me, is Usyk's undisputed fight the only fight that he had as a heavyweight? No. Didn't he fight another champion before he got there? Yeah. He had other fights with other champions that were there. And you can legitimately make the argument because you want to use Holyfield as his equivalent. I say it all the time. Usyk's heavyweight run is better than Holyfield's. People don't realize how many
I
times.
never said it wasn't.
Hey,
bro.
wait. You brought him up. And all I'm telling you is if that guy, your argument is, well, Holyfield wasn't automatically number one. Yeah, there are a lot of reasons he wasn't number one. Losing to Michael Mora is part of those reasons. Losing 2 out of the 3 with Riddick Bowe is a part of those reasons. Losing to James Toney is a part of those reasons. There are quite a few reasons that he wasn't number one. It's not just what you're saying.
Because what's happening, because you're making points, right? Like you're saying things. Like, for example, when you said, oh, well, it's about like these little guys, they can't come to heavyweight and fuck with this heavyweight.
Because it is. That's understood.
I get it.
That aspect of pound. That aspect of pound for pound has always been understood. That it's nice if you want. Look, it's nice if you got a little guy and he's doing really fucking great and he's beating guys up. But the whole list lives in the realm that in reality, little fella, if you tried to fight this guy, he would mop the floor with you. That is understood. The reason you have the list is because you're rating his skills over his size. Now, this normally, you don't have a situation like Usyk. You don't actually have a guy who's a smaller guy that goes up there and does this well. That doesn't actually happen very often. That's what makes him unique in the situation, that this doesn't normally happen. Usually, it's some little guy at number one, some bantamweight, some fucking welterweight, somebody who's never going to actually fight a welterweight. But in a scenario where you have a guy who actually did go up there and fought heavyweights, yeah, you got to give it to him off top. Got to give it to him. Because for the rest of you, this is a fantasy. This is just a fantasy for you, the rest of y'all little motherfuckers. For this guy, it's reality. He's good enough to go up there. He's not as big as they are. He's not. But he can beat them. And it's not off of strength of arms. It's from skill.
So I just want to make this last point, and we'll just leave it at that. And I already know what you're going to say, but I'm going to repeat it again. Yes, those guys are bigger than Usyk. However, they're not that skilled. The counter's going to be, we're not talking about their skills. We're talking about their size, and we're talking about Usyk's skills. However, we use the skill versus skill to measure, right? It's a measurement.
Would Teofimo's skills beat Tyson Fury?
I do think he's a more skilled fighter, yes.
Would he beat him? Would he beat him?
He
You
cannot
know the
beat him
and
because
that's
he's a
the
lot
and that's
bigger
the
than him.
and no, but he's too big for Teofimo. Is he too big for Inoue?
Yes, because Teofimo
Is he
is
too
a
big
junior
for
welterweight
Crawford?
brother.
Is he too big for Crawford?
Who's a better pound for pound fighter? Inoue?
You're getting
Right?
you know that you're getting
Hold
away
on.
from the
No,
point.
bro,
Inoue
he
The
or
only
tripping.
Benavidez?
You're getting
the
away with that, bro.
only
No,
guy
Hold
on
on.
the
Let me
list,
just.
get away
the
with that, bro.
only guy
Who's a
on
better pound for
the
pound
list
fighter?
Come on,
can
bro.
beat this.
Inoue
Why
or
is it
Benavidez?
why is it three people talking? You just made my point for me, bro. You're saying all these guys on this list, if you put them in there with Tyson Fury, Fury
Let me
wins
just ask you
every.
a question, brother. Can I just ask you a question?
But can I finish my sentence? Can I do that on my podcast, or do I give it to you?
Go
You're
ahead.
telling me that all these little guys that's on this list, if you actually put them in there with Fury, they all lose.
Yes.
But this guy doesn't, and somehow they're better than him.
Because objectively he's closer to being a heavyweight than those guys, bro. Come on, what are we doing here?
But that's the point.
Who's a
That's
better
the point.
pound?
But
let me
But
ask you
that
this:
is the point. That is
who's
the point.
who's a
Bro,
better
the
pound
skill
for
set
pound?
is
Can I ask a
different, though,
question?
bro. There's no way
Who's
you
a
think
better
Fury.
pound for pound fighter, Inoue or Benavidez?
The Mexican Cookie Monster. Why you put him in the pound for pound list? What did he do?
Hold on, but he can't beat him.
No, wait a minute. He's putting him on the pound for pound list on the premise that in a real life setting, Inoue cannot beat Benavidez. You know who can beat Benavidez though, right? Usyk.
But Benavidez don't even have
No.
Inoue
He's
just
no. Wait a minute. It's
We
not
don't
even that.
disagree with that.
It's
though.
not. No.
That's
It's
not a
not even.
disagreement.
Listen. It's not even that. It's that you're literally making my point for me. Any one of these big guy examples that you try to
Right.
come up with, right? That this guy's too big for Inoue. This guy's too big for Crawford. Yeah, he's not
That's
too
not
big
even the
for.
point I'm making, bro.
You brought it up. All I'm telling you is
no.
there
But
isn't a
you
guy-
gotta get
no,
my point.
I did get your
My
point.
point is
You're
this is
telling
my
me that
point.
Inoue. You're telling me Inoue is better pound for pound than Benavidez, even though he
Yes.
can't beat him, right? That's what you're trying to tell me. That
I'm
Inoue is
not
better
trying to
than
tell you
David
that. That's what I'm
Benavidez.
saying.
Okay, Inoue is better than David Benavidez, pound for
Yes.
pound, even though he can't actually beat him. That's awesome.
Sure.
You know who could beat? That's awesome. You know who could beat them both? Usyk.
Yeah, but heavyweights could always beat the smaller guys.
No,
Could
bro.
beat him.
Look,
He
it's
doesn't have to
crazy
be a
how you're-
heavyweight to
no,
beat
look.
him. He could be a cruiserweight. and beat him.
Dubois could beat both of them too. Like, what does that mean?
Dude, it's crazy how you're
You know
saying
who beat Dubois?
Tio has more skill than
beat Dubois?
Fury.
Jaya Petaya
How
could beat
do you-
both of them as well.
Tio has more skill than Fury, bro. That's crazy. That's bananas, bro. Like Tio don't even have half the skill of Fury, bro.
No, because again, look, guys, like I know Usyk could beat all these guys. Like that's not even a point, right? But pound for pound is a mythical list. Like you guys are talking reality here.
No,
it's a mythical list.
Pound for pound is a mythical list. It's actually a puzzle, which is why I enjoy it. It's
Sure.
a mythical list with a set of parameters that people like to change whenever it's convenient, because the list exists in a realm where you're rating smaller fighters against heavyweights.
Sure.
That's what you're actually doing. You're saying even though this guy's smaller, his X's and O's are such that if he were a heavyweight, he would beat him because he's already more skilled. He's just lacking the size. That's what the whole conversation is. That's where it's always existed.
Right.
That this, Sugar Ray Robinson, he's not as big as Joe Louis, but if he were, he's so skilled, he would get him. Now, this is a myth. This is a postulation.
That's understood.
With most every other fighter except this Usyk person. That's not a postulation for him. That is a reality. So because it's a reality, he gets the top spot. It's not complicated.
That's true.
Never been complicated.
Even we could all have we could all have different pound for pound. You could have Inoue number one.
I got Sidney Sweeney at the top of my pound for pound list.
Mirage could have the Mexican Cookie Monster at number one. Like things like that. Like everybody has their own pound for pound list, and that's what's cool about it. Like we could piece it together something. But
all I'm saying,
I just think pound for pound list, like I said, it's kind of, to me, you got to be
active. You got to fight the who's who, the what's what. You got, this is why I never put Tank in my pound for pound list. Like, this is why I
The
don't
thing
put,
is,
like,
look, the thing is, there are lots of earmarks that you can use to evaluate skill because 95% of the time, 99% of the time, you're evaluating the skill of the fighters and you're using different earmarks to evaluate that skill. You can use how many top 10 contenders they fought, how many mandatories they satisfied, how many title defenses they have, how many titles they unified, at how many weights. There are any number of earmarks you can use to arrive at a conclusion that this is the proof that this fighter is skilled, because that's what you're doing. You're rating skill, so you're looking for the proof of that skill. Now, a lot of these guys, once you start to get to the top, they do start to tie each other up. Crawford's a four-weight champion. Shakur's a four-weight champion. Canelo's a four-weight champion. Eno is a four-weight champion. Granted that Usyk is not a four-weight champion. He's fighting bigger opponents than they are. So that's the difference. These guys are not going to walk into a situation where their opponent outweighs them by 50 fucking pounds. It simply won't happen. But this is where he operates on a regular basis. That is a hurdle y'all don't have to deal with. Y'all never gonna walk in there and a guy's 50 pounds heavier than you are. But I gotta deal with that. I do. That's where I live. That's where I'm number one. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. This has been a great conversation, by the way.
Yeah, we got to look at the body mass percentage. If Inoue goes, let's say, to featherweight, he's going to be fighting like if Inoue fights a guy that outweighs him by 15 pounds, that's a bigger deal for him. If we take into account body mass percentage than Usyk against, let's say, Joshua. It's just a bigger deal.
I'm
right?
kind of just sitting back knowing I stirred all this shit.
And Usyk, I'm sorry, Inoue's a far more skilled fighter than any
No.
of these heavyweights. Like, it's not even close.
Well, yeah, but not Usyk.
I'm not going to use far, but he I would say he's slightly more skilled
Nah.
than Usyk.
No, because Usyk's not getting dropped the same way, and he's not having the same lapses in defense the same way Inoue is. It's just objectively wrong. Like Inoue has lapses in defense. You know what I'm saying?
But he hasn't been like he goes down like Marquez. He gets back.
Okay,
up.
but what you gotta understand is though, like if Inoue were to fight guys that were equally as big as the way that Usyk is, those guys would beat the shit out of Inoue. You get what I'm saying?
Inoue, I think you guys are not like Inoue started at 180 pounds. All right, he's at 122 right now. I know that it doesn't seem like a big deal, right? But for those guys in those weight classes, 2-3 pounds, if you take body mass percentage, is a big fucking deal, right? And right now, he's fighting guys that they weigh in 122, and they weigh like 130 or more on fight night. So they're outweighing him by like 10 pounds or something. For Inoue, that's a big deal.
That's standard though in like most divisions.
I agree, but for Inoue, those 10 pounds is a bigger deal than it is for a heavyweight. These heavyweights,
Yeah, that's why Usyk is fighting not with just 10 pounds. It's 30 pounds and 40 pounds and 50 pounds. It's not just 10. Like you're saying, yeah, it is scaled up, and it's equally scaled up for Usyk as well, because it's not just 10 small pounds, it's 20,
Somebody
30,
said that they
40.
don't understand body mass percentage in the chat. Well, that's not my problem, Johnny Blade. It's not my problem, brother. All right? Like go back to school or something. Like, I'm not here to be a teacher, right? So go learn
Don't be
something.
mean. Body mass percentage, that's basically like, how do I explain it? No, yeah, you're right. Go back to school, man.
Like, come on.
No, but look, like it is
but
scaled
that's
up though.
why-
Like, it's equally scaled up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then
That's why
but
there's
that's
more
what.
weight
Hold on. That's what I'm
classes.
saying though. Is that like he has lapses in defense. Usyk doesn't have that. He's a smarter fighter. His IQ is higher.
Like, I'll put it this way, right? There's a reason why like what Manny Pacquiao did will probably never be done again, right? And because I think him going
Well,
from
because he kind of
106.
like he lied and cheated to do it too, though. Like he was, what was he fighting at like fucking 12,
Well,
and
I
then
mean,
like putting
even
weights in
then,
his fucking socks and shit. Like they, yeah, they're not gonna be able to do that shit
but
again.
but
Come
but
on.
but but even then, right? Like to go from 106 to like 150, I guess, that was the catch with Margarito, right? That's not as many pounds as Roy Jones going from middleweight, or actually junior middleweight, to heavyweight. It's not as many pounds, right? But when you take body mass
Oh, bro,
percentage,
Johnny Blaze, fuck that. That's fucking Mirage's bitch ass, bro. Fuck that nigga, man.
well, I don't know what that's about, but
You
hey,
you
I
don't
gotta
know who
go to.
Mirage is? He's never bothered you on your channel.
I know, probably. I don't know. I get random
Oh,
weird,
he's the
weird
one that
trolls.
said his pound for pound number one is David Benavidez.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Mirage.
That's the Benavidez lover, bro. That guy's infamous being
Hey,
a
but
fucking
I gotta get
cocksmoker.
rolling though. I didn't even know how late it was. So I gotta get up at 4 a.m. So
Where
I'm
you at, D
out of
Styles?
here. I'm in El Paso,
Oh shit, okay, already, bro.
10 p.m. here. So I'm out of here. Peace.
All right, for sure,
Orale.
man.
El Paso's a different time zone?
Isn't it 2 hours ahead, just like where you're at in Dallas?
Well, you
Yeah,
said it's
you guys are ahead. Like from we're on the West Coast.
well, it's 11 over here.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock over here, so it's a 2 hour difference.
Yep.
Type shit.
Yep.
I think he fucked up thinking it was 8 o'clock over here.
Uh,
That's why he said 10.
fuck is that?
Sounds like Tom and Jerry or porn, one of the two. I feel like Undefeated did that.
Oh, my bad, John. Oh, it's Johnny Blaze, not Johnny Thunder. My fault, man. Damn, that's disrespectful. I apologize. I call that nigga Mirage.
Who's fucking?
That's what we said.
We thought that was you.
He says either
Nah,
Tom and Jerry or
that wasn't
porn.
me fucking. That
What
wasn't
the
me fucking.
fuck?
That's all I'm saying. That a lot of people try to
Oh, D Styles had to
redefine.
slide out.
I dig it. A lot of people try to redefine what pound for pound is, but the heavyweight is an essential component of pound for pound. You know why? Because it's understood universally. If you actually put the heavyweight in there with every single one of those small people on that list, they all lose. They all lose. That's understood. Like, yeah, we know that because the guy's bigger. Oh, so who's got the skill to beat this big guy? Because they ain't gonna beat him on size. You're gonna need something else. Usyk has
Yeah,
that
and it's
skill.
like if you make a list of all the guys and don't include the heavyweights, and it's like you said, well, which one of these guys would be able to beat him? Well, he would then have to go up to heavyweight to do it, then thus making him a heavyweight. So if you're saying you don't include heavyweights, like you can't make that argument
Yeah,
against somebody who did go up because like
that
I'm
that's
they're
like
from
basically
yeah,
not.
that's
that's basically saying that Shakur didn't move up on Saturday because you were at 140 and he was at 140. It's like, yeah, you can't do that to Usyk and then not do it to Shakur. And frankly, what, Shakur was outweighed by Big Bad Teofimo? No. What, Teofimo had towered over? No, he didn't. No, he didn't have
Tio
to
looked
overcome.
smaller than Shakur.
So
yeah,
why are we
yeah.
pretending that, oh yeah, Shakur had to overcome this indomitable size, this opponent? He's already talking about using rehydration clauses on guys. You know who never talks about that? Usyk. No advantages. I'm coming to where you live. I'm
No, if I'm
coming to where
being
you live, and I'm gonna beat you in front of your kids.
no dead ass in your backyard, bro. No, I'm not
Usyk,
gonna. I'm not.
motherfucker.
I'm gonna be 100% transparent, bro. I seen his live earlier where he was saying that nonsense. That's why I brought it up.
I dig it, but
I needed to because I wanted to address it directly too. Because I was like, bro, a lot of the stuff he was saying was nonsense.
it doesn't. It doesn't. It, it doesn't make sense for pound. You have to accept that 99% of the time, the pound for pound list is simply a postulation. That's why it's so subjective. It's just a postulation. If Inoue were a heavyweight, yeah, but he's not. If fucking Shakur, yeah, but he's not. In all actuality, this is why they all take a backseat to Usyk. This does not often happen. Cruiserweights there are lots of cruiserweights that have gone to heavyweight, like Marco Huck. They don't have the run that Usyk's
Bellew
having.
went up to heavyweight.
Bellew went to heavyweight. Hay went to heavyweight. Holyfield, one of the great, he went to heavyweight.
Didn't Michael Hunter go to heavyweight?
Michael Spinks, Michael Hunter. There are lots of cruiserweights that go to heavyweight. They do not do anywhere near as well. And under these circumstances, that Brody, I'm not just beating you. I'm literally beating you where you live. I am at every disadvantage. I'm smaller. I weigh less. My arms are shorter. I'm fighting you in your backyard.
Nigga don't even speak
and I
English.
Still win. And I still win. And my barber sucks. Usyk has some of the most horrible haircuts in boxing. It's a lot going on. It's a lot. Right?
No, my favorite was the AJ rematch, the tassel.
Yeah.
That was the best one, bro.
These horrible Ukrainian haircuts. Like, bro, I wouldn't be able to pull no bitches.
Jules,
tonight.
but he does that as psychological warfare. He does it to fuck with them.
It's even that to distract them. Like, God, this guy's haircut is fucking awful. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
He in there throwing his tassel side to side, head movement.
You know what I'm saying? Looking at that shit. You know, I just think that people don't want to give it to him. You know what it really is? I think that underneath it all, what is really underneath that argument is he made it look so easy. Americans just aren't used to that. If I ask a foreign person, if I have this conversation with a foreign person, what I notice is they never question me when I say I have him at number one. Nobody from outside of America ever questions why I have Usyk at number one. The most they might say is interchangeable, but they never question me like, nah, yeah, I understand that. That makes perfect sense. It's only in America they do that because they think it should be more difficult. That's what I really think it is. Like, well, he made it look too easy. He didn't argue with nobody. He didn't jerk off, fuck with the prosties. No, he just made it like, yeah, I fight. I want fight. I do fight. And they're not used to that. He made it look so simple. But that's why he belongs at number one, because he did something that most other cruiserweights will not do. Most other fighters in general will not do that. Yeah, he did it like it wasn't shit, and then did a stupid fucking dance after he did it. Yeah, that's why he's number one.
And then to a lot of these Americans, it's like, well, if the division isn't full of Americans and dominated by Americans, well, then it must be a weak division.
Yeah,
the fighters must not be skilled.
But I defy you. Hey, let's get David Benavidez up there if they're so unskilled, and this is so easy to do. Okay, you go do it then. Let's get David up there. Let's get Zerto up there. Fuck it. Because it's easy. Those guys aren't skilled. Ignacio, those guys aren't skilled, so it's easy.
Burger Vitas will be up there soon enough, Jules. He's not that far away now.
Because that's the argument, that because Fury is not that skilled, oh, well, he must be easy to beat because he's not that skilled. Never mind that he's the size of a fucking house. Right? Never mind that this is the division of lumbering lummoxes. No, they're not as skilled. You know why? They don't need to be. As big as they are, they'll hit you once and the fight is over. They'll hit you once. Fight's over. Now, Usyk, my man, took a body shot from AJ. He took his lumps, man. Took his lumps. Usyk is a motherfucker. He is a generational fighter. That's one of the few
Usyk
fighters.
Took a dick shot from fucking Dubois.
Fucking dick shot, man. You ever been punched in the dick? It don't feel good.
No, but I've been kneading the dick, and I had to like fucking stick my hand in my pants to make sure it was still there, bro. It was so bad.
Did you get punched in the brown?
No, not that one. No, not that one yet.
All right. I'm just telling you. You know, it's hard.
No, it's out there. No, it's out there though. Like
it is out there.
That punch, it's out there,
and you don't want to be out there when that punch is out there. So I mean, it's not, to me. That is one of the in other incarnations of the list were a lot more difficult to put together because, once again, it's a postulation most of the time. It's just some figurative shit. Y'all not really up there. Size matters in a fight. That's like, we're talking about a fight, guys. We're talking about fighters. Yes, fucking size matters, bro. Guy got 280 something pounds or 270 something pounds behind a punch. Yes, that fucking matters. Of course it matters. There's a difference between fighting a guy 150 and fighting a guy 2 and change. There's a
Yeah, because he
very
might
big
step on his
difference.
dick on the way in.
Fucking
Exactly.
dick, bro.
He might step on his dick, dude. He may be like,
You
"Oh,
got
you
you
cabrón."
gotta factor in the dick factor
You
into the
gotta
shit.
factor it in, dude. You gotta factor it in.
Shout out to Kev. I agree Loma doesn't have a great resume, but what is Breedis' best W? What does Breedis beat up a Haney caliber guy in his third weight? Haney sucks, bro. That's not a good example.
Haney gay, bro.
Haney's gay. Shout out to D Styles. Solid
That
on
nigga
your
said Haney caliber.
on your list, bro. On your list, he's number 3. On mine, he's number 1. If you want to have him at number 3, that's your prerogative. I got him at number 1, and it wasn't
He
hard to
thinks
put him there.
Inoue and Shakur are better than Usyk. That's insane to me.
Shakur is a wild one. Inoue, I'm like, okay, well, 4 weights is a lot. 2-time undisputed is a lot. And you don't even want to fucking retire. You want to keep going. It's a lot. Like I with Inoue, I do have to think about it. Like, yeah, it's a lot. This guy doesn't. He's a maniac.
And you tack
he's a
on the activity as well. That's like,
yeah,
damn.
and that is the strongest thing that he has for me. The way I do mine, that this guy, people don't want to understand. Every fight is a risk at that level. Every fight is a risk. And this guy fights more often than all of his contemporaries, more than Crawford, more than Canelo, more than Usyk. This guy gets out there and he puts it on the line, and he's making another, great case that Real Talk made. Because he's getting out there, he's defending undisputed every time he gets out there. He's defending undisputed. A lot of guys don't do that. A lot of guys get the undisputed and then the belts disperse. This guy's keeping them together. No, this is my division. This is my shit. Y'all got to take me off because I'm not giving it up.
Yeah, then
Y'all
you got to
gotta
remember as well, every time he steps into to defend it now, it's a historical defense because nobody's defending it that many times.
He's a fucking and another this anecdotally, Inoue is doing something for Japanese boxing that has never been done. He's doing something for the lighter weights that has never been done. There never was an undisputed bantamweight champion. I didn't even know that until recently. That didn't happen, and there was never an undisputed super bantamweight champion either. So this guy, there's historical significance to every move that he's making now. He's entered that stratosphere. So I don't really argue about who people have at number 1, because at this point, like, look, you could have had Crawford at number 1. I would have said, I get it. Inoue at number 1, I get it. Usyk at number 1, I get it. What I don't get is when you try to tell me that Usyk is not number 1. Yeah, I don't get that. You could say they're interchangeable, but don't tell me that he's not worthy of number 1. Like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. The rest of these guys, this is just a fantasy for you little motherfuckers. You're never going to fight a heavyweight. I'm in a division where there is no cap. We don't do rehydration clauses up here. That's where I am. You can't operate under those circumstances. None of you.
And then I also have like one of my biggest hangups when it comes to a pound for pound list is if the fighter is actually proving whether or not their skills are pound for pound. Like with Canelo, it's very obvious that Canelo is fighting guys who are taller, longer, heavier, and naturally at that.
Don't start talking about Canelo. Don's gonna get mad.
No, but I'm saying though, like with shit like that, is like you can rate his skills pound for pound because he's proving he can beat guys that are bigger than him. Shakur has never proven that.
It's essentially, and I noticed that that's one of the main components that they like to remove from the conversation by saying that, no, if they were all the same size. No, that's not the argument. You're rating them against heavyweights specifically. That's what you're doing. It's not if they were all bantamweights. That's not what we're saying. If they were all welter, no. You're rating them against heavyweights. Why specifically heavyweights? Because if any of you little motherfuckers actually tried to fight a heavyweight, you'd lose. It's understood that the heavyweight is the granddaddy of all these guys in boxing, because if you actually tried to fight him, he would beat you. Now, what makes Usyk special? He beat them. Usyk, baby. Slava Ukraina. Shout out to my man Big Hova. Hey, I just watched your relay with the T Street tweet. Homie was a live call-in show 6-7 years ago, and I commented that I thought Al was using Floyd's bread to fund the fight cards. Them motherfuckers laughed at me. Yo, I'm telling you, anybody with common sense, Big Hove, we all knew that. Because how the fuck can y'all be doing cards, losing money, but keep doing cards? Who has enough money to finance cards? Floyd. And who has access to Floyd's money? Al.
Richard Schaefer.
No. So hey, no, because that
Al
reminds
has
me.
my-
No, I appreciate you, Big Hova, because you just reminded me, bro. I've been saying it all day. This proves that that's why Floyd was so salty at Canelo a couple years back, because Al
No,
was paying Canelo
there
straight
is,
up with his
listen,
money.
there's a second prophecy, my sisters. There's a second prophecy. I already said this. I don't know if you remember it. I think you will, because it wasn't that long ago. When the dust settles, Canelo will be richer than Floyd, because
yeah.
Canelo is what
well,
Floyd.
because he manages his money better.
No, yeah, but because he is what Floyd pretends to be, though, is the crux of it. He is what Floyd pretends to be.
I mean,
And not only that, Jules, he's
Yeah.
not having multi-million-dollar shopping sprees and pretending like.
No, wait a minute. The thing is, Canelo is not as frivolous as Floyd. We can say he is not as frivolous, but the other day I saw him spend a fuck ton on a watch. Like, bro, why?
Oh no. That nigga
but
Canelo
what-
like to shop. He get him a toy every now and then.
Listen, Canelo's gonna go back.
But he
to
actually does make smart investments. He actually does.
Yeah, but he's gonna go back to boxing. He's gonna 2 more fights. He's gonna go back to cherry picking, and it's gonna be great. And I'm not gonna.
No,
watch
wait a minute, though.
pay-per-views.
Come on, Don. Why do you got to do this? Like,
Get
Don,
off his
are
cock,
you Mexican or not?
Yeah, but come on. He's been fighting.
Bro, that nigga
Look at the
Mexican,
cherries.
bro.
Okay, hold on.
Jesus
Let's look
Christ,
at let's look at the cherries he's been fighting.
Don, I have a
Who's been
question
getting
for you.
knocked out
Don,
after he fights them?
I want to ask you this. If he were to fight Hamza Shiraz, would you call that a cherry?
I would call. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude.
The problem is when you get to Canelo's level, everyone's a cherry, baby.
No, dude, come on.
I
dude.
think
Look
so,
at
but-
Edgar Berlanga got knocked out.
I'm
The
just, no,
fucking
no,
Skull get knocked out.
my dude.
Fucking-
No. I look. If you're gonna look. All right, Don. I've known you
They
for
suck,
16
dude. He's been
years.
fighting
I've
a
known
bunch
you,
of sucky
Don. I've
dudes.
known you for 16 years.
Jesus
If you're gonna,
Christ.
if you're,
All right, listen.
I've known you all of
he's
Michael's
right.
life.
He baptized
Level
my.
with
He
you.
baptized my
I'll level
baby.
with
He's
you.
the Godfather. He's
I'll
been on
level
for
with
16 years,
you.
yeah.
If you're telling me, okay, John Ryder was a cherry, even though he's a mandatory. But if in your eyes you looked
Cherry.
at him as being less than adequate, if you
Yeah.
looked at Edgar as being
Oh,
less
yeah.
than adequate,
Cherry.
I'll accept. Look, I'll accept that. I will accept that. But I cannot
Skull,
accept
cherry.
that when it comes. Wait. Nah, Skull wasn't really a cherry. Nobody's in a hurry to fight a fucking light-footed Cuban, and you know that. Nobody wants to fight those guys, right?
Except for
Edgar
Jacob Bank, who beat his ass.
Yeah, but did you see Jacob? Yes, but did you see the size of Jacob Bank?
Yeah,
Dude
Jacob Bank
is a
is like
house.
Mikkel Kessler on steroids.
Yeah.
Dude is a house, bro.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
he's
dude.
fucking
It's
huge.
like- I don't know, dude.
Now,
It's been
if you're
like-
telling me that Shiraz is 6'3",
Dude, the
bro,
only
what?
okay, I'm sorry, but the only 2 pay-per-views I bought were fucking like dude, I bought the fucking Skull one thinking, oh yeah, and, I haven't bought a pay-per-view, a Canelo pay-per-view in a long time.
and
the
that's
first
why,
one I get
and
is
that's
that-
why I understand-
that's gotta hurt.
No. Yeah, and that's
Fuck,
why I
dude.
understand. That's why I understand that
It's
Don is really angry. Like, and I get it that if that's the first one you bought in a long time, like, yeah, I'd be pretty fucking
dude, I
mad
spent
too.
that was that, and you know what? And the rest of the card was shit.
No, the whole
No,
thing.
bro,
the
my
whole
first
thing,
ever party that I hosted, like a fight party, it was the Bivol fight. Yeah, bro. I was hot. I was heated. I was like, motherfucker. I was like, you fucking
dude,
Russian
you know what? I
mother,
was at
you
a
son of a
barbecue. I was at a
bitch.
barbecue in LA with my family, that an extended family that I hadn't seen in a long time, and I was and they were like, "Oh no, le va a ganar." I'm like, "No, he's got a decorated amateur record." Ah, sí, pero se ponen esa chingadera en la cabeza, and I'm like, "Dude, he might get his ass kicked. He might get his ass kicked by this guy." and
Yeah,
everyone's
but Don,
underestimating this guy.
Don, in fairness, you know that as a hardcore boxing fan, and you box. I mean, I know that about you because I read your file. I have it. I look
I
at it
know
from
this
time to
nigga's
time.
got a file cabinet on
Jules
him.
fucking demanded
do.
it from the FBI or what the fuck?
I called a favor from some Interpol buddies, but the thing is that most people are going to look at Bivol and they're going to think, oh, this is another Kovalev fight. The casual perspective on that fight is they're thinking it's going to be another Kovalev fight. That's what people thought.
That's what people thought. Yeah.
Now, I'll say that I'll admit that maybe I wasn't as quick-witted as you or as accepting that Canelo could lose the fight, but I did identify him as a banana skin. Like, yeah, I don't. This guy's style. Yeah, I don't.
No, it was
back and forth. It's a lot.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
I thought it was going to be more competitive, but I didn't think he was going to completely dominate him, and that's what happened.
No, you want to hear something even funnier than that? So I, you know, when I had that apartment, I only hosted two boxing parties. It was my first ever, which was the Canelo Bivol fight.
That sucks. And what was the second one?
That was the first one that sucked, right?
What was the second
And
one?
then the second one was the Haney Cambosos fight.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no. After that, I was like, you know what? I'm good.
that?
I was like, I
You
don't think
know
I should
already.
be
Like,
hosting.
see,
I was like,
that
I'm
one
good.
you know.
No,
That
no,
one-
dude. Like round
shoulda
4,
known
when we
with that
stopped
one.
watching, we were
Dude,
just
that
getting
was-
high. And by round
No,
4,
no.
I
By
realized-
round 4, by round 4, Real Talk didn't have any pants on because the orgy broke out. Like, yeah, fuck this shit.
He was like, no, fuck this, bro.
I think
Shout out to Big Hove. That shit was ABC 123. Canelo got his bread straight up though. All his bread is accounted for. Floyd trusted a music dude with his bread. The fuck was the shit is look, man. The shit there is a difference between when Floyd started dealing with Al and when Canelo started dealing with Al. When Canelo started dealing with Al, he was already a fucking franchise. You know what I mean? Like, he got the lawyers and the shit set up. Like, you can't fuck him. You can't fuck him. Whereas when Floyd started fucking with him, he's out of Top Rank. He's still wide-eyed. He's not a star yet. So it's easier to gank him. Whereas with Canelo, like, you wasn't good. That Canelo, you wasn't going to gank him. He beat Oscar in the courts. Like, don't play with him. Don't give him his money. Don't play with him. You know what I mean? So it's different. It's apples to oranges, It's apples to oranges. Should Floyd have known better? We could make that argument. But the shit is in boxing. None of them know better. Al is intended to protect you. Understand it? This is why this Ali Act bullshit is so ridiculous. What do you do in a situation where a manager, the guy who's intended to read your contract and look out for your best interests and take care of you, what do you do in a situation where he doesn't? How does the Ali Act protect you then?
Yeah, like, to be fair, like, these are people who are so, like, unskilled that they're getting punched in the face to make a living. Like, I don't expect a whole lot from people like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't expect them to do algebra and shit on a dry erase board, bro. I'm gonna fucking go to sleep. This has been a great live. I'm gonna do another one tomorrow. And there's a fight on Friday. I don't know if I want to go live for it because there's not any big names on it, but I might anyway. And let's fucking go, bro. And Usyk is number 1, D Styles. I want you to go to bed with that thought.
Yeah,
You
remember
went to
that.
sleep already, Jules. You're too late.
Know your place, these styles.